The executioner's axe drops, and the royal family watches me die with smiles on their faces. Cold steel tears through my neck. For one brutally clear instant, I see my own body kneeling beneath the black scaffold while blood floods across the white marble of Crown Square. Then everything goes dark. See, 3 days ago, I am still Corvin Vale, Royal Marshal of Veridus, commander of the kingdom's northern legions, and the man responsible for keeping half the royal family alive through 2 separate invasions. Today, I am a convicted traitor. That promotion happens remarkably fast. The herald stands beneath the scaffold with my confession spread between his jeweled hands. It is not my confession. The signature is mine. The royal seal is genuine. Even the details are painfully convincing. Secret correspondence with the Ashen Republic. Plans to open the northern gates. A list of officers supposedly prepared to murder the king during the Festival of Crowns. Someone puts extraordinary effort into destroying me. Honestly, I would almost admire the craftsmanship. Almost. King Orsric sits beneath a golden canopy at the edge of the square. His thick fingers curl around the Lion Throne's ceremonial scepter. He does not look angry. Anger would require uncertainty. He looks satisfied. A dog who bites the crown deserves the block, he declares. The nobles surrounding him bow their heads. Not a single soul objects. Queen Merla sits beside him in a gown stitched with tiny spirit crystals. The crystals drink sunlight and scatter it across her pale face. She was the one who requested a public execution. She wanted the capital to remember this. History will remember you as a traitor too weak to die with dignity, she says. Her smile is delicate, completely poisonous. Crown Prince Dane stands at the foot of the royal platform wearing the silver armor I gave him after the Battle of Red Hollow. There is still a dent beneath the left shoulder plate. I take the blow that causes it. He takes the credit for the victory. Fair trade, apparently. Your loyalty was useful until it became inconvenient, Dane tells me. At least he is honest now. Princess Isara watches from his side. She once calls me Uncle Corvin when no one else is listening. Now she raises one gloved hand and signals the executioner to proceed. No grave in this kingdom will claim your name, she says. That one almost makes me laugh. Almost. The executioner forces my head against the block. Around Crown Square, thousands of citizens remain absolutely silent. Some believe the charges. Most do not. None of them matter. The king owns the courts. The queen owns the temples. The prince owns the army I built. The princess owns the information guild that forged every piece of evidence used against me. The verdict is decided long before the trial begins. I already know why. 2 weeks ago, I enter the sealed records beneath the Western Palace and discover 12 years of military payments diverted into private royal accounts. Food meant for border soldiers. Healing elixirs meant for plague camps. Reinforcement funds meant for cities that fall, while the royal family celebrates another ridiculous banquet. I bring the evidence to King Orsric. He offers me a duchy. I refuse. He offers me his daughter. I refuse again. The next morning, royal guards find treasonous letters inside my private chambers. Talk about an embarrassingly predictable ending. The executioner lifts the axe. I look directly at the 4 people responsible. I do not beg. I do not curse them. I memorize their faces. Then the axe falls. My severed head strikes the marble. Blood pours into the narrow channels carved around the scaffold. Those channels are supposed to carry it toward the purification furnaces beneath Crown Square. They do not. Someone alters the stonework centuries ago. My blood slips through a crack beneath the execution block, runs behind the marble foundations, and drips into a chamber no living royal remembers exists. I know this because I fall with it. There is no body, no breath, no pain, only awareness sinking through layers of freezing darkness. I pass beneath the square, beneath the palace walls, beneath the royal chapel where priests are already preparing a sermon about my betrayal. The darkness opens. An impossible chamber waits below the Capitol. Thousands of skeletons sit upon stone thrones arranged in descending circles. Some wear rusted crowns, some wear shattered armor. Some are little more than skulls resting on velvet cushions turned black with age. Every empty eye socket faces a massive altar at the center. My blood lands on it, one drop, then another. The altar moves. Ancient mechanisms grind beneath the floor. Chains pull tight inside the walls. Blue fire erupts across massive braziers without producing a trace of heat. A system alert flashes through the darkness, unjust execution confirmed, royal covenant violated, hidden inheritance activated. My thoughts sharpen. Another message burns across whatever remains of my vision class awakened, Necromancer of the Hollow Crown. Well, death has excellent timing. Something drags me downward. For one savage moment, my entire existence stretches across the chamber. I feel every bone, every grave, every dead monarch buried beneath the city. There are far more than the official histories claim. Kings erased after civil wars, queens murdered before coronation, infant heirs hidden after succession disputes, entire branches of the royal bloodline sealed beneath stone and deliberately forgotten. The royal family does not bury its mistakes. It stacks them beneath the capital. A final notification cuts through my mind. Compatible vessel detected. The skeleton on the central altar jerks. It wears black ceremonial armor fused to its ribs. A broken crown circles its skull. A wide execution fracture splits the vertebrae beneath its jaw. The same wound as mine. Blue fire floods its empty sockets. My awareness slams into the bones. I inhale. Nothing enters my chest. I sit upright anyway. The movement is clumsy. My left arm collapses beneath me. Several fingers scatter across the altar. My skull nearly rolls from my spine. Not exactly the triumphant return I would have selected. I reach for the fallen fingers. The bones twitch. They crawl back across the stone and attach themselves one by one. A soul current pulses through the joints, thin but stable. I flex my hand. The skeleton obeys. My skeleton. The thought should disturb me. It does not. I have commanded men with less discipline. A faded name is carved into the altar beneath me. Queen Idrissa I, founder of Verthese, conqueror of the Seven River Lords, executed for treason by her own sons. Turns out, royal tradition is remarkably consistent. A thread of cold light rises from the fractured crown resting on my skull. The light twists into the shape of a woman. She is barely visible. Half her face is missing. Her robes dissolve below the waist. Thin chains of golden script run through her chest and disappear into the altar. She does not speak. Her dead eyes lock onto mine. A pressure touches my thoughts. Not words, tactical impressions. The chamber, the exits, the active wards, the number of armed men moving through tunnels above us. 32, royal gravekeepers. All approaching. The ghost raises one transparent hand and points toward the northern wall. A concealed passage. Then she points toward the crown fused around my skull. A key. Useful. I stand. My legs tremble beneath the ancient armor. The body is strong, but the soul connection remains incomplete. The system tells me the vessel retains only a fraction of its original power. It does not explain what fraction. Naturally, a heavy door crashes open above the chamber. Torchlight spills down a spiral staircase. The first gravekeeper appears in a mask shaped like a crying saint. He stops when he sees me standing on Queen Idrissa's altar. His torch slips from his hand. By the crown! The other gravekeepers crowd behind him. Their leader shoves forward. I recognize the crimson cord around his shoulder. Captain Brask, commander of the Palace Burial Guard, one of Princess Ysara's private agents. He is the man who plants the forged letters in my chambers. Apparently, the royal family sends him below to clean something else tonight. Brask draws his sword. Destroy it, he orders. Now. The gravekeepers descend. Silver warding runes ignite across their shields. The chamber fills with the smell of burned salt and sanctified oil. I remain beside the altar. My new body has no muscles, no blood, no heartbeat. Yet I feel the dead pressing against the edge of my awareness. Thousands of them. Silent. I lift one hand. Nothing happens. Brask laughs. A broken corpse wearing a dead queen's bones. He advances. The ghost beside me sends another pulse through the soul link. Not fear. Correction. My hand is aimed at the skeletons. Wrong target. I lower 2 fingers toward the gravekeeper who reaches me first. His boot steps across my blood. The droplet still shines on the floor. A thin black chain erupts from it and coils around his ankle. He stumbles. I seize his wrist. His silver ward burns against my bones. Pain tears through my arm. Good. Pain means the connection works. I twist. His elbow snaps. Before he can scream, I drive my skull into his face. Bone strikes metal. His mask shatters. So does his nose. I take his sword and push it beneath his jaw. The blade punches through his skull. He dies against me. The system alert appears instantly. Hostile soul captured, one crown debt fragment acquired. Warmth floods my ribs. The dead gravekeeper's shadow rises behind him. I feel every piece of it. Memory, instinct, fear, obedience. My fingers close. The shadow collapses into his corpse. His body jerks upright. The remaining gravekeepers freeze. The dead man turns toward them. His neck hangs at a brutal angle. Blood coats his armor. His broken arm dangles uselessly. He raises his shield with the other hand. Brask's face loses all color. Necromancer. The word echoes through the royal crypt. The skeleton queen's ghost watches me carefully. I sense approval through the link. Faint. Reluctant, but real. Brask points his sword at me. The marshal was executed less than an hour ago, he says. No registered necromancer is inside the capital. So he knows what I am. He simply does not know who. I take one step forward. Blue fire rolls across Queen Idrissa's broken crown. Brask sees the movement. He sees the black military stance I drill into every officer beneath my command. His expression changes. Recognition arrives slowly, then all at once. No, he whispers. I tilt my skull. The gesture is enough. Brask retreats. Behind him, his men begin shouting prayers. I send the risen gravekeeper forward. Silver blades hack into him. Sanctified flames consume his uniform. He lasts only seconds. That is enough. I watch the formation. Front shields overlap too tightly. Rear fighters cannot strike without hitting their own men. Brask builds the burial guard to suppress slow, mindless undead. He never expects one to think. A reasonable mistake. I rush the left wall. 3 blades follow me. I let the first cut through my shoulder plate. The second misses. The third strikes the golden chain running from Queen Idrissa's ghost to the altar. The chain snaps. The entire chamber convulses. The ghost expands. For a single terrifying instant, she appears exactly as she must have looked in life, tall, armored, and utterly furious. A tactical command slams through our soul link. The royal thrones are not graves, they are stations. The dead monarchs are not merely buried here, they power the kingdom. Every royal gate, treasury lock, military oath, and palace ward is bound to the bones beneath this chamber. The living royal family rules because the dead royal family permits the machinery to function, and I am standing at its center. The gravekeepers charge again. I press my palm against Queen Idrissa's altar. The necromancer class answers. Black light spreads through the carved stone. One throne ignites. Then another. Then 20 more. The entire crypt shakes as thousands of royal skulls turn toward me. Brask falls to his knees. No grave in this kingdom will claim your name. Princess Ysara's final insult returns to me. I look across the endless circles of dead kings, queens, princes, and forgotten heirs. She is right. I no longer need a grave. I need an army. My fingers tighten against the altar. The first royal skeleton rises from its throne. Then I open the hidden passage leading directly beneath the palace. The hidden passage seals behind me with the sound of a tomb swallowing its final secret. Stone grinds against stone. The shouts of Captain Brask and his surviving gravekeepers vanish beyond 12 feet of ancient granite. For the first time since my execution, I am alone. Mostly. Queen Idrissa's ghost floats beside me, her broken chains trailing through the darkness like strands of molten gold. She does not speak. She does not need to. A pulse crosses our soul link, 3 men injured, 28 still combat capable. Captain Brask retreating toward the surface. Useful information, also irrelevant for the next few minutes. I place one skeletal hand against the sealed door. No vibration, no digging, no warding spells. Brask is running upward to warn the palace. Good. Panic makes people predictable. I turn away and examine the corridor ahead. Blue flames ignite along the walls as I approach. They burn inside iron cages shaped like open rib cages. Each flame leans toward the crown fused to my skull. The passage recognizes Queen Idrissa's body. Or me. The distinction matters. I just do not know why yet. The corridor descends in a tight spiral before opening into a circular vault beneath the royal crypt. Unlike the chamber above, this place contains no thrones. It contains bones, mountains of them. Human skulls fill iron shelves from floor to ceiling. Femurs are bound into bundles with silver wire. Entire skeletons hang from ceiling hooks, each one marked with a bronze plate. Some plates carry names, most carry numbers. These are not members of the royal family. They are servants, soldiers, prisoners, political enemies. Thousands of bodies reduced to inventory. A message slides across my vision. Hollow Crown Repository discovered. Unclaimed dead, available for processing. Processing. What a beautifully heartless word. I step toward the nearest shelf. Queen Idrissa drifts in front of me. Her transparent hand passes through my chest plate. A warning strikes through the soul link. Not every corpse is empty. Some contain fragments. Some contain curses. Some contain things that learned how to pretend they are dead. I look at the nearest skull. Its jaw slowly closes. Point taken. I move to the center of the vault instead. A black stone table rises from the floor. 9 narrow channels spread from its surface and disappear beneath the bone shelves. There is a circular depression in the middle, exactly the size of a human skull. The system alert appears: necromantic forge available, authority insufficient for full activation. I place my palm on the table. The channels ignite. 1 glows. 8 remain dark. A second message follows: current Hollow Crown authority, 1 of 9 seals. So the forge functions at 1/9 capacity. Simple enough. I summon the soul of the gravekeeper I killed. Nothing rises. I try again. My fingers close around empty air. Still nothing. The system offers no explanation. I replay the death. His soul enters me. The alert says hostile soul captured. 1 crown debt fragment acquired. Then I force his shadow into his corpse and raise him. The corpse is destroyed seconds later. Maybe the soul is destroyed with it. Maybe not. I focus inward. There. A cold speck rotates behind my ribs. It feels smaller than a coin and heavier than a mountain. I touch it with my will. The gravekeeper's final memories explode through me. Salt, blood, the sound of his elbow breaking, my skull striking his mask. Then terror, absolute humiliating terror. I release the fragment. The memories stop. A system notice forms across my vision. 1 hostile soul contains 1 base fragment, 1 memory imprint, 1 instinct imprint, and 1 debt value. Now we are getting somewhere. I direct the fragment toward my right hand. Blue fire crawls across my finger bones. Strength enters the joints, not muscle, not magic in the traditional sense. Structural reinforcement. The bones become denser. The tendons of black soul light binding them together grow tighter. A new message follows: 1 fragment temporarily allocated. Hand integrity increased by 1 unit. Duration 60 heartbeats. I have no heartbeat. The system pauses. Then the text changes. Duration 60 seconds. At least it learns quickly. I flex my fingers. The stone beneath them cracks. 1 fragment produces enough force to fracture ancient granite. That is not insignificant. The blue light begins fading almost immediately. After exactly 60 seconds, the reinforcement disappears. The crack remains. So temporary allocation increases 1 function for 1 minute. I return the fragment to my core. No loss. Good. I try my legs. 1 fragment. 1 unit. 60 seconds. My movement speed increases slightly. Then my spine. Balance improves. Then my skull. Nothing obvious changes. Perhaps I become more handsome. Difficult to measure without a face. Queen Idrissa's ghost tilts her head. The movement is almost human. I feel a flicker through the link. Amusement. That is new. She was silent before. Now she reacts. The soul bond is strengthening as I use the class. I file that away. Next test. I select a complete skeleton hanging from the nearest hook. The bronze plate identifies him as Royal Spearman 682. No name. Only function. I pull him down and lay him on the black table. His bones are intact. His skull has been drilled through the forehead. A control measure. The palace does not merely store bodies here, it prepares them. I place the captured soul fragment inside his chest. The skeleton jerks. Its fingers scrape against the table. Blue fire flickers in its eye sockets. A system message appears: 1 base fragment may animate 1 standard corpse for 10 minutes. So temporary raising costs 1 fragment but does not consume it. I wait. The skeleton sits upright. It turns its head toward me. I order it to stand. It obeys. I order it to attack the wall. It obeys again. The skeleton strikes the granite with both fists. 2 fingers break. It does not stop. I order it to halt. Immediate compliance. No hesitation. No survival instinct. No intelligence beyond the command. A standard corpse. Exactly what the system calls it. I inspect the damaged hand. The bones do not repair themselves. The soul fragment provides motion, not regeneration. I take the fragment back. The skeleton collapses instantly. The fragment returns to my core unchanged. That means one soul can be reused. Temporary undead are not ammunition. They are tools. I can animate one corpse for 10 minutes, reclaim the fragment, and move it into another corpse. One fragment. One active standard undead. 10 minutes per deployment. Straightforward. Too straightforward. There is always a cost hiding behind elegant machinery. I place the fragment inside the skeleton again. This time, I do not settle it in the chest. I push it into the drilled cavity in the skull. The reaction is immediate. The skeleton convulses so violently that its spine snaps against the table. Blue light erupts from every joint. The system warns me that forced memory binding has begun. Interesting. I continue. The gravekeeper's instinct imprint fuses with the dead spearman's bones. Sword training enters a body built for a spear. The patterns conflict. The skeleton thrashes. Queen Idrissa sends a sharp pulse through our link. Stop, I do not yet. The system begins counting compatibility. 10%. 16. 23. Then it drops. 19. 12. 5. The skull explodes. Bone shards scatter across the vault. The soul fragment flies back into my ribs. Damaged. Not destroyed. Its cold weight is weaker. A message confirms the lost memory imprint degraded by 31%. Instinct imprint degraded by 44%. Debt value unchanged. There it is. The hidden cost. Temporary animation is safe. Forced binding risks the soul. If the fragment is damaged enough, I may lose whatever makes it useful. I gather the broken bones and arrange them on the table. Queen Idrissa watches me. Disapproval moves through the link. I return it with a thought of my own. Necessary. Her expression hardens. Then she points toward a different body. A skeleton wrapped in rotting crimson cloth hangs alone in a narrow alcove. Its bronze plate carries a name. Sir Garin Holt, Royal Duelist. Executed for murdering Prince Edric. The skull has no control hole. The bones are marked with hundreds of shallow cuts. A fighter. A complete corpse. And perhaps something more. I place my one damaged soul fragment into its chest. The skeleton rises, faster than the first. Its posture is different. Balanced. Alert. The system identifies the result standard undead animated, corpse aptitude 7 units, soul instinct 4 units, total combat value 11. Now there are numbers. Good. I examine my own body. The system responds vessel aptitude 83 units, soul authority 1 unit, total combat value cannot be calculated. Naturally. I order Garen's skeleton to attack me. It moves without warning. The first strike is a straight thrust using 2 fingers. A sword technique without a sword. I block. The impact cracks one of my wrist bones. The second strike targets the gap beneath my ribs. The third sweeps toward my knee. This corpse remembers. Not consciously. Its bones retain physical habits. Corpse aptitude is not raw strength. It includes the movements carved into the body before death. I seize its neck and throw it across the vault. It twists in midair, lands on one hand, recovers instantly. Impressive. I withdraw the fragment. Garen collapses. The soul returns. No additional damage. So the corpse contributes instinct without permanently binding the soul. A skilled corpse is more valuable than an intact one. That explains the royal repository. These bodies were not discarded. They were collected as weapons. The living royal family simply forgot how to use them. I do not intend to make the same mistake. I turn toward the endless shelves. One soul. Thousands of corpses. At present, I can animate only one at a time. That changes the moment I acquire more fragments. I focus on the phrase crown debt. The system unfolds the mechanism in response. Every person who knowingly participates in a violation of the royal covenant accumulates debt. Treason committed by a subject creates ordinary soul residue. Treason committed by the crown creates crown debt. When I kill someone carrying crown debt, The hollow crown converts that debt into additional fragments. 1 unit of debt produces 1 extra fragment. The gravekeeper possessed no personal royal blood, but he knowingly enforced an unlawful royal execution. That gives him 1 debt value. His soul, therefore, should contain 2 usable fragments. Yet I only feel 1. I press deeper. The damaged soul speck separates. 2 smaller lights pull apart inside my core. One contains memory and instinct. The other contains nothing but cold force. So that is the structure. The base fragment carries the person. The debt fragment carries only power. 1 hostile soul. 1 base fragment. 1 additional fragment for each unit of crown debt. A common murderer may provide only 1. A royal official who spends years enforcing unlawful commands may provide dozens. And the people who ordered my execution, King Orsric, Queen Merla, Crown Prince Dane, Princess Ysara, their debt may be massive. The thought is not revenge. Revenge is emotional. This is arithmetic. I allocate both fragments into Garen Holt's skeleton. The first animates him. The second reinforces him. His bones darken, cracks seal. Blue fire becomes black around the edges. The system confirms that each additional fragment raises 1 selected attribute by 1 unit for 10 minutes, but reinforcement beyond the corpse's aptitude risks structural collapse. Garen possesses 7 aptitude units. That likely means he can safely hold 7 fragments. Maybe 8. Maybe 20. The system does not say. I attempt to insert a 3rd fragment. I do not have one. The hollow crown reacts anyway. A thin thread pulls at Queen Idrissa. Her ghost flickers. The forge is trying to use her. I sever the command immediately. The thread snaps. Queen Idrissa recoils. Her face loses what little definition it possesses. For the first time, something sharp and personal crosses the bond. Fear, then anger. She raises both hands. Golden tactical symbols bloom around her. 9 exits. 3 kill zones. 1 route directly toward the palace foundation. She is showing me exactly how she could destroy this vault if I try that again. Reasonable. I won't consume you, I say. My voice does not come from lungs. It grinds through bone and soul light. The sound is deep, broken, and completely inhuman. Queen Idrissa stares at me. The fear recedes. Not trust. Not yet. But the golden symbols vanish. A new system message appears, companion bond stabilized, tactical projection unlocked at minimum capacity. So reassurance produces measurable results. Annoyingly sentimental machinery. I inspect the 2 fragments again. The base fragment is damaged. The debt fragment is pure. I insert the debt fragment into the circular depression in the forge. The black table absorbs it. One of the 9 channels brightens. A counter appears in my vision. Permanent forge activation requires 100 debt fragments. I withdraw the fragment. The channel darkens. 100 fragments. Not souls. Debt. The distinction is extremely important. At full activation, this forge may allow permanent undead. Perhaps multiple undead. Perhaps upgrades. The system refuses to reveal more. Authority insufficient. I press harder. Nothing. I command it as Royal Marshal. Nothing. I invoke Queen Idrissa's name. The table shudders, but the information remains sealed. So the class gives me a mechanism, not answers. I know the cost of temporary animation. I know reinforcement. I know corpse aptitude. I know the forge threshold. I still do not know the maximum number of fragments 1 soul can produce. I do not know what happens if a base fragment is destroyed. I do not know whether a powerful corpse can reject me. I do not know whether royal blood changes the result. And I have absolutely no idea why the hollow crown chooses me, instead of keeping Queen Idrissa as its master. That uncertainty should slow me down. It does, for nearly 3 seconds. Then I begin selecting bodies. Garen Holt for speed. A massive palace guard named Boros Tane for strength. An unnamed court assassin with silver needles fused into her finger bones. A royal hound the size of a horse. A child-sized skeleton wearing the black robes of an extinct order of cursed scribes. I arrange them around the forge, not an army. Options. The moment I gain another soul, I will test compatibility. The moment I gain 10, I will test command range. The moment I gain 100 debt fragments, I will activate the forge. Queen Idrissa drifts toward the far wall. She touches 1 brick. A map of the palace appears in golden light. The royal family's private chambers burn above us like 4 red wounds. King Orsric is in the throne wing. Queen Merla is inside the chapel. Dane is gathering the palace guard. Isara is already moving toward the crypt. Fast. Too fast. Brask must have reached her. The princess is coming to inspect the dead queen's chamber personally. I look at my two fragments. One damaged base soul. One pure debt fragment. One active companion. Several thousand corpses. Not enough to fight the palace. More than enough to prepare it. I place the base fragment inside Garen Holt. I place the debt fragment into his legs. He rises in complete silence. Faster. Stronger. Temporary. I point toward a ventilation shaft leading upward. Queen Idrissa sends me a projected route. The shaft opens behind the walls of the royal chapel, exactly where Queen Merla is standing. I do not send Garen to kill her. Not yet. I send him to steal the queen's burial ledger. Before I raise the entire royal family, I need to know where every last one of their ancestors is hidden. Garen Holt climbs through the ventilation shaft while I feel every scrape of his fingers against the stone. The connection is thin. Not sight, not sound. Pressure, direction, and instinct reach me through the soul fragment controlling him. He moves upward. Pauses. 2 living bodies pass behind the chapel wall. He waits exactly 4 breaths, although neither of us breathes, then continues. The dead duelist still remembers patience. That makes him more useful than most living officers I command. Queen Idrissa floats beside the golden map, projected across the repository wall. A black point marks Garen's position. 3 red points move through the royal chapel. 1 remains stationary near the central altar. Queen Merla. The other 2 patrol the private archive door. I study the distance between them. Garen has enough reinforcement to remain active for 7 more minutes. Stealing the burial ledger requires 4. Returning through the shaft requires 6. Unfortunate. I place my hand against the black forge. The damaged gravekeeper fragment rotates inside my ribs. The pure debt fragment remains inside Garen. No spare power. No second minion. No convenient miracle. Good. Convenient miracles create careless men. I search the bone shelves instead. The repository contains thousands of corpses, but corpses alone do not move. Then something moves anyway. A skull on the western shelf turns toward me. Its jaw opens. Black vapor pours between its teeth. 3 more skulls follow. Queen Idrissa's tactical projection changes instantly. Golden lines divide the room into firing lanes. The shelves shake. Hands push through bundled bones. The warning she gives me is sharp enough to split thought. Unbound remnants. Not souls. Hunger left behind after the person is gone. The first creature pulls itself from the shelves. It has 6 arms, 3 rib cages, and no legs. Silver storage wire binds its pieces together. A dozen jaws chatter inside its torso. The palace calls this place a repository. It is also a furnace for every curse the royal family cannot destroy. The creature launches itself from the shelf. I step aside. Its claws tear across my shoulder plate and rip 2 ribs from my body. I catch one of its arms. The black vapor crawling through its joints bites into my fingers. A system alert crosses my vision. Hostile remnant contact. Soul erosion detected. Pain flashes through the connection holding my bones together. Brutal. Useful. The remnant does not attack the skeleton. It attacks the force moving it. I drive my forehead into its central skull. The bone cracks. The vapor spreads into another jaw. No effect. Queen Idrissa marks a point inside the creature's lowest rib cage. A knot of darkness pulses there. Core. I tear away 2 arms, force my hand through the ribs, and close my fingers around the knot. The remnant screams without lungs. I squeeze. Black vapor explodes across the room. The creature collapses into disconnected bones. A system notice follows unbound remnant purified, 1 hollow residue acquired. Not a soul fragment, something new. The other 3 creatures crawl from the shelves. 1 drags itself across the ceiling. Another builds a spine from loose femurs as it moves. The last wears 5 human skulls, like armor. I pull the gravekeeper's damaged base fragment from my core and throw it into Sir Garen's empty body on the forge. The skeleton rises. No reinforcement. 10 minutes. I point toward the ceiling. Garen leaps. His fingers punch into the crawling remnant's throat. They fall together. The creature wraps 4 arms around him and begins tearing his bones apart. I do not rescue him. I watch. The remnant ignores the dead body and bites directly at the soul fragment inside Garen's skull. So I withdraw the fragment. Garen collapses in its grasp. The creature strikes empty bone. I place the same fragment inside Boros' Tane, the massive palace guard arranged beside the forge. Boros rises behind it. His corpse aptitude is 12 units. Strength dominates everything else. He catches the remnant with both hands and slams it against the black table. Once. Twice. The stone cracks on the third impact. Queen Idrissa marks the core. I crush it beneath Boros' palm. A second hollow residue enters me. The remaining creatures rush together. I transfer the fragment again. Boros drops. The court assassin rises. Her bronze plate names her Morel Sorn. Corpse aptitude, 9. The silver needles fused into her fingers flick outward as she moves. She slips between the creatures. One needle pierces a black knot hidden behind the first creature's jaw. Another enters the second creature's spine. The needles do not destroy the cores. They pin them. I step forward and break both with my hands. 4 creatures. 4 hollow residues. 1 damaged soul fragment. No additional debt. No new undead capacity. Yet the system reacts when I approach the forge. The 4 residues begin circling the depression at its center. A message appears. Hollow residue may repair damaged memory imprints, strengthen companion anchors, or stabilize corpse modifications. 3 functions. 4 units. I select the damaged Gravekeeper fragment. 1 residue enters it. The cold speck brightens. Memory degradation falls from 31% to 16%. Instinct degradation falls from 44% to 22%. A second residue repairs the remaining damage. So 2 residues restore 1 fragment after a failed binding. Expensive. I turn toward Queen Idrissa. Golden chains still trail from her chest. 1 chain ends inside my crown. The others are broken. Her anchor is incomplete. I hold out the 3rd residue. She looks at it, then at me. Caution enters the soul link. I remember the forge trying to consume her. She remembers it more clearly. I place the residue on the table instead of forcing it into her. The black vapor condenses into a smooth bead. Queen Idrissa approaches by choice. Her transparent fingers close around it. The bead dissolves. Every golden chain connected to her flashes. The ghost jerks backward. Her outline sharpens. Armor forms across her shoulders. A long mantle appears behind her. The missing half of her face remains damaged, but 1 golden eye opens inside the ruin. A system alert confirms the change companion anchor reinforced, tactical projection expanded, 1 memory domain restored. The map on the wall transforms. The simple palace layout gains staircases, ward lines, guard rotations, and sealed chambers. Not the current palace. The palace as it exists during Idrissa's reign, walls overlap in gold and black. Some passages are blocked now, others remain hidden. 1 old route runs from the repository directly beneath the royal treasury. Another reaches the abandoned mint. A third leads to the lion mausoleum outside the eastern wall. The final location catches my attention. The lion mausoleum is where publicly honored royals are buried. The repository above us holds the forgotten ones. 2 halves of the same bloodline, 2 halves of the same army. Queen Idrissa sends me a memory. Workers carrying stone coffins through the mausoleum. Priests sealing each one with funeral wax. A crown official pressing a signet into every seal. Then another image. A hidden mechanism beneath the central tomb. 1 lever opens every royal coffin at once. Now that is an upgrade. I take the 4th residue and press it into Morel Sorn's right hand. The silver needles fuse deeper into her finger bones. Black lines spread through each one. The system reports a stabilized corpse modification, soul-piercing needles, minimum effect. Foreshadowing becomes preparation. Preparation becomes survival. I return the repaired soul fragment to Morel. She rises. Garen remains active inside the chapel through the debt fragment. 2 undead. Finally, the connection to Garen suddenly tightens. He reaches the archive. I feel resistance through his hands. A lock, then a short vibration. Bone striking metal. The lock opens. Queen Idrissa places 2 fingers against the map. The red points inside the chapel shift. 1 guard turns toward the archive door. Garen has less than 3 minutes remaining. I direct him toward the burial ledger. Through the fragment, I feel rows of leather bindings, cold metal clasps, funeral wax. He cannot read. The corpse remembers sword forms, not letters. I send Queen Idrissa a description. Black cover, lion emblem, 4 silver corners. She projects the archive from memory. 3rd shelf, lower row, Garen finds it. The moment his hand closes around the ledger, the stationary red point moves. Queen Merla leaves the altar, straight toward him. I do not recall Garen. Instead, I change the plan. I send him through the archive's outer door. The two guards see him. A dead duelist wearing rotting crimson cloth bursts into the royal chapel with the kingdom's burial ledger beneath one arm. That is not subtle. It is not supposed to be. One guard draws his sword. Garen cuts him across the chest with the edge of his bare hand. The second raises a warding charm. Garen throws the first guard into him. Queen Merla enters. I feel her magic through the soul fragment as a surge of violent heat. The queen speaks a command. Garen's left arm ignites. He keeps moving. The ledger remains protected against his ribs. He reaches the ventilation opening with 11 seconds of reinforcement left. Then the debt fragment expires. His speed drops. Queen Merla's next spell tears through his back. 3 vertebrae explode. Garen falls into the shaft. The ledger falls with him. I withdraw both fragments before the queen can touch the corpse. Garen becomes ordinary bone halfway down. He strikes the shaft walls. Breaks apart. The ledger slides ahead of him. I catch it when it drops into the repository. Pieces of Garen rain around me. His skull lands at Queen Idrissa's feet. She looks down at it. A flicker of irritation passes through the bond. He succeeded. That is enough. I open the burial ledger. Every royal death recorded during the last 300 years fills its pages. Names, locations, cause of death, condition of remains, ward classification. Some entries are marked with a black lion. Those bodies were moved, not buried. The final pages contain new orders signed by Princess Isara. Transfer selected royal remains from the Lion Mausoleum into the palace sanctuary. The order is dated tomorrow. My return has already changed their plans. Or perhaps Brask's warning accelerates something they intend to do anyway. Either way, the royal family is beginning to consolidate its dead. I can help them make that decision absolute. Queen Idrissa projects the route to the abandoned mint. I take Morel, Boros, Garen's scattered bones, and the ledger through the hidden passage. The mint sits beneath a ruined counting house 2 streets from the palace. No one has used it since the kingdom changes its coinage 60 years ago. Dust covers the presses. Rats nest inside cracked silver molds. A collapsed furnace dominates the rear wall. Perfect. I work without speaking. Morel climbs the rafters and cuts 3 support ropes halfway through. Boros drags an empty coffin beneath the furnace. I place Garen's broken skeleton inside it. Not all of him. I keep the skull. On the coffin lid, I carve the symbol used by Ashen Republic intelligence agents during the Northern War. I know the symbol because I spend 6 years hunting them. Then I make it imperfect. A true agent would never carve it openly. A royal investigator who wants desperately to see foreign involvement will not care. I tear 4 pages from the burial ledger. The pages list royal bodies stored inside the Lion Mausoleum. I smear grave dust across them. I press Queen Merla's chapel wax onto one corner. I place a copied palace route beneath the ledger pages, drawn using Idrissa's old map so that 3 corridors are outdated. Not enough to expose the deception immediately, enough to become suspicious later. Finally, I animate Boros. He lifts the heaviest mint press and carries it across the room. Its feet leave deep tracks in the dust. I command him to drag the empty coffin toward the eastern tunnel. The tracks make it look as if several corpses have already been removed. At the tunnel entrance, I scatter fragments from 3 unrelated skeletons. Different ages. Different burial cloth. A careless necromancer building an army. A foreign plot targeting royal blood. A hidden enemy who knows where the ancestors are buried. Every piece tells the same lie. That is why the lie will survive. I place the 4th stolen ledger page inside Garen's jaw. Then I position his skull facing the palace. Queen Idrissa studies the room. Her golden eye narrows. She marks one section of the floor. Too clean. I order Boros to walk across it twice. She marks the coffin. Too centered. I shift it closer to the furnace as if abandoned in haste. She marks the broken ropes above us. Morel cuts one completely. A silver mold crashes to the floor. Dust explodes through the mint. Now the scene looks interrupted, not arranged. Queen Idrissa's approval moves through the soul link. Small, precise, valuable. I carry the original burial ledger back beneath the palace. The copies remain. The trap now has a face. The Ashen Republic. It has a target. The royal dead. It has evidence, the stolen ledger pages, and it has a solution the royal family will reach without my help. Move every royal corpse into one fortified location. Guard them together, seal them together. Make them easy for me to raise together. By the time I return to the repository, the gravekeepers above are searching for an intruder. They never look below their feet. I place the original ledger on the forge. 7 royal burial sites, 43 marked coffins, 112 confirmed skeletons, 206 partial remains. The hidden repository contains thousands more. My available force is still pathetic by comparison. 2 soul fragments, 3 viable combat corpses, 1 upgraded tactical ghost, 1 modified assassin. I require growth. So I open the oldest drainage gate beneath the repository. The tunnel beyond leads into the plague pits under the Eastern District. Thousands die there during the Grey Fever. The crown seals the pits instead of burning the bodies. Queen Idrissa projects a warning. Movement fills the dark. Not 4 remnants this time, hundreds. I place the base fragment inside Morel. The det fragment enters Boros. The forge glows behind me. My crown burns with cold blue fire. I step into the plague tunnel with 2 undead at my sides and a ghost above my shoulder. By dawn, I possess 13 soul fragments, 37 hollow residues, 6 reinforced skeletons, and 1 ghoul that refuses to die even after I remove its head. By the second night, I have 28 fragments. By the third, 41. The forge remains below its permanent threshold. My army remains temporary. My command range remains uncertain. My enemies remain alive. Still, beneath the palace, bones begin standing whenever I raise my hand. Above me, Princess Ysara's investigators discover the abandoned mint. Exactly as planned. The first sanctified spear enters Boros Tane through the chest and pins him to the tunnel wall. White fire races across his ribs. His reinforced bones crack one after another. The second spear tears Morel Sorn's right arm from her shoulder. Her soul-piercing needles scatter across the plague tunnel. The third spear is aimed at my skull. I catch it between both hands. The silver blade burns straight through my finger bones. So much for a quiet 4th night. 40 royal soldiers advance through the eastern drainage gate in perfect formation. Their armor is covered in funeral scripture. Glass lanterns hang from their shields, each one holding a flame taken from the royal chapel. Behind them walks Princess Ysara. She wears black beneath a silver breastplate. No crown, no jewels, only a narrow sword and the calm expression of someone who believes the trap has already closed. Captain Brask walks at her right side. The bruises from our first encounter still darken his face. He sees Queen Idrissa's broken crown fused to my skull. Recognition twists his mouth. That is him, Brask says. The thing beneath the crypt. Thing. Accurate enough. Ysara raises one hand. Her soldiers stop. Their boots stand among the bones of plague victims who die because the royal family refuses to spend money on proper pyres. The irony is almost painfully obvious. You stole the burial ledger, she says. My voice grinds through the tunnel. You left it unattended. Her eyes narrow. She does not recognize me. Not yet. The skeletal body hides my stance better while I am motionless. The moment I fight seriously, that may change. Behind me, 36 temporary undead crowd the plague tunnel. Most are incomplete. Some have no lower jaws. Several use broken coffin boards as weapons. One ghoul drags its severed head by the hair while its body walks beside it. A dignified military force. Every undead consumes 1 soul fragment. I possess 41. 2 are bound to Boros and Morel. 36 animate the plague corpses. 3 remain inside my core. Queen Idrissa floats above my left shoulder. Her golden eye moves across the enemy formation. Symbols bloom through our soul link. Front rank, 12 shield bearers. Second rank, 12 spearmen. Third rank, 8 royal exorcists. Rear rank, 6 archers. Brask, Ysara. 40 living enemies. 42, if arrogance counts as a person. The princess surveys my army. That is all? She sounds disappointed. I raise the sanctified spear still trapped between my hands. The white fire spreads up my wrists. My bones begin to soften. Yes, I say. For now. Ysara lowers her hand. The royal soldiers charge. The shield bearers strike first. Their lanterns flare. A wall of white fire rolls through the tunnel. My front line disintegrates, not falls, disintegrates. 7 skeletons become ash before they can lift their weapons. 3 plague corpses collapse, as the soul connections holding them together are severed. The ghoul throws its own head through the flames. The head bites one soldier's cheek. A spear immediately crushes it. A creative failure. The enemy line continues forward. Boros tears the sanctified spear from his chest and swings it like a club. 2 shield bearers block together. The chapel flames surge through their shields. Boros's left arm explodes. Morel moves between the spears. Even without her right arm, she remains brutally fast. Her remaining needles strike a soldier's neck. The silver points pierce armor, then stop against a layer of golden light beneath his skin. A royal blessing. Morel is struck from 3 directions. A spear enters her stomach. A shield crushes her skull. An arrow pins her foot to the floor. The soldiers tear her apart. Queen Idrissa sends me a direct command through the bond. Retreat. I do not argue. I withdraw every fragment I can reach. 24 return. 12 do not. The chapel fire consumes them before I can break the connection. Cold gaps open inside my core. The loss is immediate. Permanent. So sanctified flame does not merely destroy corpses. It burns soul fragments. That information cost me 12 soldiers. Expensive. Still cheaper than ignorance during the final battle. I step backward. The royal formation advances. White fire fills the width of the tunnel. My remaining undead cannot approach. The exorcists begin chanting. Golden chains appear across the ceiling. One wraps around my spine. Another coils through my ribs. A third hooks beneath Queen Idrissa's ghostly throat. She flickers. The tactical projection vanishes. Brask laughs. Your corpse army is worthless. He has said something similar before. A broken corpse wearing a dead queen's bones. He enjoys repeating himself. People without imagination often do. The chains pull me toward the soldiers. I release the fragments animating 6 nearby skeletons. They collapse. The sudden reduction in resistance throws the exorcists off balance. I twist. One chain breaks. The others hold. Isara watches from behind the formation. She is not joining the attack. Smart. She wants her soldiers to identify my limits first. That is exactly what I am doing to hers. A spear cuts through my thigh. Another enters my ribs. The shield bearers force me to one knee. White fire pours over my crown. Queen Idrissa's outline becomes nearly transparent. For several savage seconds, the royal soldiers completely control the tunnel. My undead lie scattered. Boros is missing an arm and half his ribs. Morel exists in 6 separate pieces. The plague corpses burn around me. Brask walks forward with his sword resting against one shoulder. Look at you, he says. A king of garbage and bones. Not king. Not yet. I remain on one knee. The golden chains pull tighter. The soldiers see defeat. I see patterns. The chapel flames grow brighter whenever 2 shields overlap. The blessing under their skin pulses from the lanterns, not from the soldiers themselves. The exorcists do not power the chains continuously. They alternate. 4 chant. 4 recover. Every 6 seconds, control passes between the groups. The archers fire only when the front rank locks its shields. Brask advances whenever the flames are strongest. Isara stays exactly 12 paces behind the last exorcist. She trusts the formation. That makes the formation the real enemy. I count another cycle. 4 exorcists inhale. 4 stop chanting. The golden chain around Queen Idrissa weakens for less than a second. Her eye opens. A new map flashes into my thoughts. Not the tunnel. The bones beneath it. Thousands of plague victims fill sealed chambers on both sides of the walls. The royal soldiers believe they are standing in a corridor. They are standing inside a grave. I place one hand on the floor. A system alert crosses my vision-bounded death field detected. Provisional dominion possible. The skill has no registered name. No tested range. No reliable cost. Exactly the sort of thing sensible men avoid activating while surrounded. I have never been especially sensible when the alternative is kneeling. I push 3 unbound fragments into the tunnel floor. The stone turns black beneath my fingers. A circle spreads outward. 1 foot. 3, 7. The system identifies the ability as crownless dominion within a territory saturated by unburied dead. Hostile blessings weaken. undead structural integrity rises, and one active enhancement may be stolen from a marked enemy. Provisional range, 9 paces. Duration, 20 seconds. Cost, 3 fragments. 20 seconds, 9 paces, 1 stolen enhancement. Small, brutal. Enough. The black circle reaches the first shield bearer. His chapel lantern flickers. The golden blessing beneath his skin dims. I mark him. A thin line of blue fire jumps from his chest into mine. The blessing transfers. White light covers my bones. The sanctified spear inside my ribs stops burning. For one ridiculous instant, royal holy magic protects a necromancer from royal holy magic. Talk about an absolute cheat. I stand. The golden chains snap. Brask stops smiling. I pull the spear from my body and drive it through the nearest lantern. Glass explodes. The shield bearer loses his blessing completely. Boros rises behind him. The Dominion reinforces every remaining joint in his body. He catches the soldier by the waist and folds him backward over one knee. The man's spine breaks with a wet crack. Morel's scattered pieces begin moving. Her left hand crawls across the floor. Her skull rolls between two shields. Her remaining silver needles strike upward through the gaps in their armor. 2 soldiers fall screaming. The royal line tightens, exactly as trained. Exactly wrong. I command the bones inside the walls, not the corpses. Only the loose bones nearest the Dominion. Femurs punch through old mortar, ribs spill from cracks. Skulls roll beneath the soldiers' boots. The floor becomes unstable. The shield formation breaks for half a second. Boros charges through the opening. He swings the broken, sanctified spear. One shield bearer flies into the exorcists. Morel reconstructs herself around a kneeling archer. Her detached arm clamps onto his throat from behind. She inserts 3 soul-piercing needles beneath his jaw. The royal blessing flickers, then collapses. I feel his soul loosen. Not dead yet, close. The exorcists shift their chant toward me. Queen Idrissa intervenes. Golden tactical symbols appear across their faces. Left, right, center. Weakest anchor. I follow the sequence. One bone spear strikes the left exorcist's knee. Morel's needles pierce the right exorcist's wrist. Boros throws a corpse into the center. The chain spell collapses. The remaining undead surge forward. The fight becomes close, ugly, useful. A plague skeleton tears open a soldier's helmet with both hands. A royal spear impales 3 corpses in one thrust. An exorcist burns 4 of my undead before Boros crushes his lantern. Every enemy who dies produces another. I withdraw fragments a heartbeat before sanctified fire reaches them. Animate. Attack. Withdraw. Transfer. A corpse falls. Another rises. The royal soldiers begin striking bodies that are already empty. Their training assumes each undead is one unit. Mine are positions occupied by reusable souls. Brask sees it. His face changes. He shouts for the soldiers to target me. Too late. The crownless dominion reaches its final 5 seconds. I mark the strongest remaining shield bearer and steal his blessing. The first stolen enhancement is already fading. The second replaces it, so only one may remain active. No stacking. Another limitation. I file it away while cutting through the man's throat. 4 seconds. 3, 2. Queen Idrissa sends a sharp warning. Isara is moving. The princess crosses 12 paces in a blur. Her narrow sword enters the dominion. Every black line on the floor recoils from the blade. Royal blood. The skill weakens around her. She appears directly in front of me. Her sword pierces my crown. Blue fire erupts from my skull. The dominion collapses. All borrowed blessing vanishes. My remaining undead lose their reinforcement. Isara twists the blade. A fracture splits Queen Idrissa's vessel from forehead to jaw. You are not a necromancer, the princess whispers. Her eyes search the way I hold the spear. You are a soldier. Recognition approaches. I strike her wrist. She releases the sword and retreats before I can seize her. Smart again. Brask is not. He sees my crown split and charges. His blade rises. His entire body commits to the killing blow. Queen Idrissa's ghost vanishes from my shoulder. For one instant, I think the broken crown destroys her anchor. Then the golden map appears beneath Brask's feet. A circle, a line, an execution mark. Queen Idrissa materializes behind him. Both transparent hands enter his shoulders. She does not possess his mind. She possesses his balance. Brask's front foot turns half an inch. His knee locks. His sword misses my skull. The force of his own charge carries him past me, straight toward the wall where Morel's severed right hand waits. The soul-piercing needles drive through his eye. Brask screams. Queen Idrissa pulls downward. He falls to both knees. Boros brings the broken sanctified spear across his neck. The impact does not cut him. It crushes every bone beneath his jaw. Captain Brask collapses at my feet. Still breathing. Barely. I kneel beside him. His remaining eye focuses on the fracture in my crown. He finally sees the man inside the skeleton. "Marshal?" he whispers. I place 2 fingers against his forehead. "You planted the letters." His lips tremble. "The princess ordered—" I know. I push his soul back into his dying body for one final second. Memory opens. His hand entering my chambers, the forged letters beneath my floorboards, Isara watching from the doorway, Brask asking whether the king truly intends to execute me. The princess answering without hesitation. His loyalty was useful until it became inconvenient. Dane's words. Isara's decision. The entire family participates. Good. Certainty is cleaner than suspicion. Brask dies. His soul enters me. The system counts 1 base fragment and 14 crown debt fragments. 15 from 1 man. My earlier arithmetic was conservative. I absorb them. Cold power floods my core. Around me, the surviving royal soldiers break. Some run toward the drainage gate. Some throw down their weapons. Isara retreats in perfect control. She takes 3 exorcists and 6 guards with her. I do not pursue. Not because I cannot reach her. Because she has now seen exactly what I want her to see. A necromancer with a limited field. A few dozen unstable corpses. A dangerous ghost. Powerful enough to threaten a burial site. Not powerful enough to assault the palace. She will respond by centralizing the royal dead. She will increase the guards. She will build every future decision around defeating the strength I reveal tonight. A small strength. Not the real one. The tunnel falls silent. I collect the souls of the dead. 31 enemy soldiers fall. 22 carry 1 crown debt fragment. 6 carry 2. 2 exorcists carry 5 each. Brask carries 14. The total reaches 58 debt fragments and 31 base fragments. I lose 12 fragments to sanctified fire. The exchange remains excellent. I place repaired fragments into the strongest corpses. Boros receives 4 permanent structural stabilizations through hollow residue. His corpse aptitude rises from 12 to 15. Morel receives a reconstructed right arm made from plague bones and silver burial wire. Her soul-piercing needles increase from minimum effect to stable effect. 7 royal shield bearers rise as reinforced skeleton infantry. 3 exorcists return as hollow chanters, their damaged souls still remembering the rhythm of chain magic. The remaining fragments animate 29 new soldiers. My temporary force grows from 36 unstable plague corpses to 41 combat-capable undead, including 12 elites. Not an army, a beginning. Queen Idrissa reforms beside me. The missing half of her face flickers. Her finishing strike costs part of the anchor I repaired. She looks weaker, yet the bond between us is clearer. She sends me 1 image, Brask kneeling. Then another, King Orsric on the lion throne. A question. I answer through the link. Later, above the tunnel, bells begin ringing across the capital. Not funeral bells, alarm bells. The survivors have reached the palace. By sunrise, every tavern and guardhouse in Varethus whispers about a crowned skeleton commanding the dead beneath the eastern district. No one connects it to Corvin Vale. Why would they? Corvin Vale has no grave. He has no body. He has no head. He is a traitor whose name is already being scraped from military monuments. The creature beneath the city receives a different name. The soldiers call me the Hollow Marshal. I never ask for it. It fits. I carry Brask's skull back to the Black Forge and place his 14 debt fragments inside its channels. The activation count rises to 72. 28 more. Then the forge will awaken permanently. I look toward the golden map of the palace. Princess Isara is already moving royal coffins from the Lion Mausoleum. The timeline I expect is gone. According to the stolen ledger, the transfer begins tomorrow. It begins tonight instead. Isara is faster than I predict. More frightened, too. Someone inside the royal family understands the hollow crown better than Brask does. I adjust the next step. Rather than stopping the transfer, I will accelerate it. Let them gather every king, every queen, every prince, every princess. Let them seal the entire royal bloodline beneath one roof. I only need 28 more debts before the doors close. By noon, half the capital believes the Hollow Marshal is an ancient king. The other half believes I am a demon wearing one. Neither theory is especially useful. Both are extremely entertaining. I stand inside the wall behind the Hall of Petitions while 3 royal ministers argue about me on the other side. The passage is barely wide enough for my shoulders. Dust fills the cracks between the stones. Dead insects cling to Queen Idrissa's old ward lines. No living architect remembers this corridor exists. Queen Idrissa does. She floats above me with one golden eye pressed near a slit in the masonry. Through our soul link, she projects the chamber beyond. 32 officials, 12 guards, 4 priests, 1 prince pretending not to be frightened. Crown Prince Dane paces beneath a painted ceiling celebrating the Battle of Red Hollow. The artist places him at the center of the victory. I am painted near the edge, kneeling beside a fallen banner. Even in oil, the royal family steals efficiently. The creature commanded trained formations. General Mavrin says. He stands beside the council table wearing the red sash of acting royal marshal. My sash. Dane gives it to him less than a day after my execution. Mavrin never commands more than a supply escort in his entire career. Now he leans over a map as if strategy enters the body through fabric. Undead do not use formations, one minister says. These did. Then your soldiers exaggerated. 31 men are dead. 31 frightened men can exaggerate from the grave. Dane slams one hand against the table. The room goes quiet. He has always enjoyed silence he does not earn. The Ashen Republic is responsible, he says. The evidence beneath the abandoned mint proves it. There it is. My lie. Delivered in the prince's own voice. General Mavrin nods quickly. The foreign markings are conclusive. They are not. One curve is reversed. The code is 4 years outdated. The burial pages carry chapel wax no Ashen agent could obtain without entering the Queen's private archive. Any competent investigator should notice all 3 problems. Princess Ysara notices. She stands near the window with her arms folded. Her face reveals nothing. The markings prove someone wants us to think of the Republic, she says. Dane looks at her. Are you questioning the investigators? I am questioning evidence placed in a room-like stage decoration. Good. She remains dangerous. Mavrin clears his throat. The stolen pages list bodies from the Lion Mausoleum. Whatever created those corpses is targeting the royal bloodline. That much is obvious, Queen Merla says. She sits at the far end of the chamber in white mourning silk. Not for me. The court announces 3 days of mourning for the soldiers killed beneath the city. Apparently, gravekeepers deserve more grief than marshals. A fresh burn marks the queen's left palm where Garen's corpse escapes her chapel. She keeps the hand hidden beneath a lace glove. We transfer every royal remain into the palace sanctuary, she continues. The chapel wards will destroy any necromancy that approaches. King Orsric is absent. That matters. The king rarely misses a council where fear can be turned into authority. Queen Idrissa sends me a small golden symbol. Illness. Or concealment. I answer with a thought. Find out. She leaves the observation slit immediately. No hesitation. No request for explanation. Her ghost passes through the wall and disappears into the old palace roots. The bond stretches. I feel her movement as a line of cold gold sliding away from my crown. She could stay. The council contains valuable information. Instead, she follows the single uncertainty I mark. That is not obedience from a mindless minion. It is judgment. She understands which missing piece matters most. Dane points at the map. The transfer is already underway. By sunset, every coffin will be inside the inner sanctuary. Princess Ysara watches him. And if that is what the enemy wants? The prince laughs, a little too loudly. You saw its force. A few dozen broken corpses hiding in plague tunnels. I saw it steal a royal blessing. The ministers stop whispering. Ysara continues. I saw it change bodies without losing command. I saw it analyze our formations while pretending to lose. Her eyes move across the room. For one absurd instant, I think she looks directly at the hidden slit. Then she turns back to Dane. It wanted survivors. General Mavrin stiffens. Dane's jaw tightens. The truth embarrasses him more than the deaths. That is useful too. Queen Merla raises her unburned hand. The sanctuary is protected by 7 generations of royal priests. No undead can exist inside it. Ysara's expression barely shifts. The thing beneath the city is wearing the founder's crown. Silence returns. Not the prince's silence this time. Real silence. The ministers glance toward the painted kings lining the walls. Several make warding signs. Dane walks to his sister. You are giving a corpse too much credit. And you are giving it exactly as much credit as you gave Corvin Vale. My name enters the chamber. The reaction is immediate. General Mavrin looks at the floor. 2 ministers exchange glances. Dane's face hardens. Queen Merla slowly turns toward her daughter. Ysara does not retreat. The marshal warned us the northern accounts were compromised, she says. We called him paranoid. The marshal warned us our burial wards were obsolete. We called him disrespectful. Now he is dead, and something is walking beneath the palace using the weaknesses he identified. Mavrin speaks carefully. You do not believe the traitor is connected to this? No. The word arrives too quickly. She hears it too. Her eyes narrow. Then she corrects herself. I believe someone studied his military methods. Close. Painfully close. Dane turns away. Corvin is dead. Yes. No grave holds him. The room goes still again. Princess Ysara says nothing. She remembers her own words at the scaffold. No grave in this kingdom will claim your name. I feel the shape of her suspicion forming. Not certainty. A possibility she does not want to touch. Excellent. Fear grows faster when people refuse to name it. I leave the passage before the council ends. Morel waits inside an abandoned servant alcove 2 corridors away. Her reconstructed arm is hidden beneath a gray cloak. A plain porcelain mask covers her skull. From a distance, she resembles a thin servant carrying folded linen. From nearby, she resembles a corpse wearing curtains. Palace security is not what it used to be. I send one thought through the soul fragment. Move. Morel glides into the servant corridor. No guards challenge her. Living servants instinctively avoid looking at masked attendants belonging to the royal physicians. Morel carries herself with enough cold purpose to make the disguise convincing. The cloak helps. The basket of blood-stained bandages helps more. I remain inside the wall and follow through hidden passages. Our connection has improved since the plague tunnel. I can now feel brief sensory impressions from her corpse. Light, motion, heat, the rhythm of nearby heartbeats. Still no full vision. Still no words. Enough to navigate. 2 palace maids approach from the kitchens. Morel slows. They do not. The hollow marshal tore Captain Brask's soul out with one hand. The first maid whispers. He had 6 arms, the second says. Captain Brask? The skeleton. 6? And wings. I almost stop moving. Rumor improves me remarkably quickly. The first maid lowers her voice. My brother serves at the eastern gate. He says the dead soldiers stood back up and saluted the creature. That part is closer. They did not salute. One lost control of his shoulder joint. Still, accuracy is not the purpose of rumor. Fear is. The maids pass Morel. One glances at her mask. Morel turns her head a fraction too slowly. The maid hurries away. Through the soul link, I feel something from Morel. Not confusion. Not hunger. Recognition. She understands the servants are discussing us. Her fingers tap once against the basket, then twice. The same rhythm she uses before throwing needles. Anticipation. She likes the rumor. That is almost personality. Almost. We continue toward the lower guard barracks. I do not come here for information. I come here to be seen. Corvin Vale is officially dead. The palace announces my household property will be seized, my titles erased, and my surviving officers questioned. That should make every former ally avoid my name. Instead, someone leaves a black military ribbon tied around the iron railing outside the barracks. Then another. Then 12. The ribbon is an old northern custom. Soldiers use it when command kills one of its own. King Orsric bans the practice years ago. Apparently, death restores my popularity. 3 young officers stand beside the railing. I recognize all of them. Lieutenant Sen, Captain Rael, Standard Bearer Tovin. None hold important rank. Not yet. They speak quietly while guards remove the ribbons. The marshal would never sell the northern gates, Tovin says. A senior guard grabs his collar. Say traitor. Tovin does not. The guard strikes him. He falls against the railing. Captain Rail steps forward. Lieutenant Sen catches his arm. Smart, not brave. Smart survives longer. The senior guard looks toward the other soldiers. Any man who honors Corvinvale honors treason. No one answers. He tears down another ribbon. Morel enters the corridor carrying the basket. The senior guard barely notices her. I direct one fragment of will through our bond. Not a command, a suggestion. The silver needles inside Morel's reconstructed hand shift. She could kill him before anyone blinks. She knows it. I know it. Instead, she passes him. Her damaged fingers open beneath the basket. One black ribbon slips from the blood-stained linen. It lands beside Tovin's boot. Morel never looks back. The gesture is not mine. I did not order it. Queen Idrissa chooses routes. Morel chooses symbols. The dead are becoming inconveniently expressive. Tovin sees the ribbon. He looks at the masked servant disappearing around the corner. Then he closes his hand around it. The senior guard does not notice. Neither does anyone else. I do. So does Morel. A faint pulse enters the soul link. Satisfaction. That settles it. She definitely enjoys this. I continue toward my former office. The bronze nameplate is already gone. General Mavrin's crest hangs in its place. Fast work. Inside, clerks carry out my maps, journals, and sealed campaign records. Several are marked for burning. Mavrin stands behind my desk while two noble officers congratulate him. The traitors' organization was excessive, one says. Mavrin opens a campaign ledger upside down. Obsessive men often hide disloyalty beneath procedure. I stand behind the wall less than 6 feet away. This is becoming a very educational day. A clerk places my northern fortress plans into a wooden crate. Mavrin gestures lazily. Burn those first. The plans include reinforcement routes, winter storage chambers, and the only reliable escape corridor from the border citadel. Destroying them is not an insult to me. It is military suicide. I could prevent it. I could send Morel into the room. I could leave Mavrin hanging from my own ceiling with his soul nailed inside his skull. Tempting. Wasteful. Instead, I mark the clerk carrying the crate. He has a limp. Ink on his left cuff. A wedding band. No royal blessing. Queen Idrissa returns before I act. Her presence enters the soul link with a burst of cold urgency. She projects King Orsric's private chamber. The king lies in bed. Black veins spread across his chest. 4 priests drain blue light from a sealed coffin beside him. The coffin contains a royal skeleton. The dead ancestor's soul is being consumed to keep the king alive. There it is. The living royal family remembers more than Ysara admits. They do not know how to command the dead. They know how to burn them. Orsric is sick. The sanctuary is not merely protection. It is a feeding chamber. Every coffin they gather becomes fuel for the king. That changes the shape of the trap. If I wait too long, the royal family may destroy part of my future army before I reach it. I recalibrate. The burial transfer must continue. The consumption must stop. Not openly. Not yet. I send Morel toward the sanctuary routes. Queen Idrissa projects the wards. 7 layers. The outer 3 reject undead bodies. The next 2 burn hostile souls. The 6th identifies royal blood. The final seal answers only to the living monarch. Direct entry is impossible at my current strength. Good. Impossible entrances encourage better plans. I return to the repository beneath the palace. The Black Forge waits with 72 debt fragments glowing inside its channels. 28 remain. My temporary undead stand in silent ranks between the bone shelves. 41 combat-capable corpses. 12 elites. Boros rests on one knee, while hollow residue repairs the fractures in his spine. Morel returns several hours later carrying 3 things. A sanctuary priest's ring, a scrap of royal funeral cloth, and a tiny glass vial filled with blue fire. She places them on the forge one at a time. Then she opens her reconstructed hand. A fresh black ribbon lies across her palm, the same kind left outside the barracks. She keeps one for herself. I look at her porcelain mask. She taps 2 fingers against the forge. Once, twice. Anticipation again. Queen Idrissa circles the vial of blue fire. Her golden eye narrows. The flame inside is not holy. It is refined soul essence extracted from royal remains. The king is consuming his ancestors one fragment at a time. I place the priest's ring inside the forge. The system identifies 3 units of crown debt. The funeral cloth carries 1. The vial carries no debt. It carries 12 royal soul fragments stripped of memory. 12. Enough to animate. Enough to reinforce. Enough to corrupt the sanctuary from within. I do not use them. Not yet. Instead, I pour 1 fragment of blue fire onto the broken bones of Garen Holt. Every piece trembles. His skull lifts from the table. The fractures along his spine close with blue light. The system alert appears royal essence compatibility detected. Elite evolution path available but incomplete. Garen's empty eye sockets ignite. He stands without a soul fragment inside him, only for 1 second. Then he collapses. Queen Idrissa sends me a sharp image. A sword, a crown, a locked gate, foreshadowing, a future form. I understand enough. Royal essence can make an elite corpse retain motion without continuous fragment control. The forge still needs 24 debt fragments after the stolen items. 24. Princess Izara is centralizing the royal dead. King Orzrik is consuming them. General Mavrin is destroying the kingdom's defenses. My name is being erased in public and honored in secret. My social position has changed after death. Yesterday, I am a condemned traitor no one dares defend. Today, soldiers leave mourning ribbons beneath armed guards. They still believe I am powerless. They still believe I am gone. That makes the change small. Small changes are the safest kind. I pick up the vial. 12 royal fragments swirl inside it like frozen stars. Above me, the palace bells announce the final funeral convoy entering the sanctuary. Every royal coffin is now gathered together, exactly where I want them, almost exactly when I want them. I look across my waiting dead. The king is eating my army, I say. Boros rises. Morel taps her needles against the forge. Queen Idrissa's golden eye burns brighter. For the first time, all 3 react before I issue a command. Good. I close my hand around the vial. Let's make him choke. The king begins choking before midnight. Not because I poison him. That would be crude. He chokes because the next vial of refined royal essence refuses to enter his body. 4 sanctuary priests stand around King Orsrik's bed with their hands pressed against a crystal conduit. Blue fire flows from the coffin beside him, climbs the glass tubes, and stops 3 inches from his chest. The essence trembles. Then it flows backward. Every priest in the chamber screams. I feel the reversal through Morel's stolen vial. 12 royal fragments remain curled inside my fist beneath the palace. Each fragment carries the same extraction mark used by the sanctuary. A mark is a path. Paths run in both directions. I push 1 fragment against that path. The sanctuary conduit cracks. Blue fire erupts across the king's bed. Orzrik convulses beneath the sheets. The black veins across his chest spread to his throat. 1 priest catches fire from the inside and collapses without a sound. Queen Idrissa projects the scene through our soul link. Her restored memory domain now reaches every chamber connected to the ancient royal ward network. Not sight, something better. Authority impressions. She feels which seals open, which bloodline keys move, which royal bones are disturbed. The sanctuary contains 318 complete royal skeletons, 746 partial remains, 49 sealed skulls classified as politically dangerous, and 1 living king consuming all of them. My future army is larger than expected, so is the damage. Orzrik has already burned 81 royal souls beyond recovery. I tighten my grip around the vial. The blue fragments inside it flare. The conduit above reverses again. This time, the royal essence does not merely stop. It tears free from the king. A stream of blue fire rips from his mouth and floods back into the coffin. Orzrik's scream shakes the bedchamber windows. Queen Merla rushes to his side. Princess Isara does not. She turns toward the sanctuary doors, always looking for the mechanism, always 1 step closer than everyone else. The extraction has been compromised, the surviving priest says. Isara draws her sword. By what? The priest stares at the cracked conduit. A matching seal. The princess's face becomes still. Foreign necromancy? He hesitates. That hesitation should save him. It does not. Queen Merla grips his robe. Answer her. The path is royal. Silence spreads through the chamber. I feel it through Adrissa's projection. Fear has different weights. Dane's fear is hot and immediate. Merla's is sharp. Orsrik's is animal. Isara's becomes colder the more dangerous the problem grows. She looks at the coffin beside the bed. Then at the blue fire trapped inside it. The Ashen Republic stole burial records, Dane says from the doorway. They could have copied the extraction seal. No, they could not. The extraction seal is written into the Founder's Covenant. No foreign agent would even know it exists. Princess Isara knows that. She also knows admitting the truth would mean acknowledging that something inside the royal system itself has turned against them. Dane walks closer. The mint proves they are involved. There it is again. My bait. He clings to it because the alternative is worse. Queen Merla releases the priest. Move the remaining coffins into the lower sanctuary, she orders. Seal every entrance. Double the exorcists. Isara studies her mother. The lower sanctuary connects to the old covenant chamber, which is precisely why the wards are strongest there, and precisely why the crowned corpse beneath the city may want them there. Dane scoffs. The thing cannot enter consecrated ground. It stole consecration from a living soldier. It held the blessing for seconds. It only needed seconds. The argument continues. I stop listening. The important decision is already made. They keep the royal dead together. They trust the sanctuary. They trust the Ashen Republic explanation enough to fortify against an external invasion rather than investigate the machinery beneath their feet. The bait is no longer evidence. It is policy. Perfect. I release the extraction path. The blue fire settles. Above me, the king survives. For now, killing him before the forge awakens would waste an extraordinary amount of debt. I need him conscious. Afraid. Still issuing unlawful orders. Every command deepens the value of his soul. I turn from the Black Forge. The repository is no longer a storage vault. It is a command center. Bone shelves have been cleared from the central floor. Boros and 12 reinforced shield skeletons build barricades from royal coffin lids. Morel oversees the work from the rafters, correcting every uneven defensive angle by throwing a needle into the offending plank. The dead obey her faster than they obey me. I am not offended. Much. The plague tunnel forms the eastern boundary of my territory. The abandoned mint controls the south. The forgotten treasury route gives me access to the western palace foundations. The northern passage reaches the Lion Mausoleum and 3 sealed ossuaries outside the city wall, 4 underground corridors, 6 hidden chambers, 1 forge, 1,094 usable corpses inside direct reach. My army grows in shifts. 120 standard skeletons guard the outer tunnels. 48 plague corpses patrol the drainage network. 21 royal soldiers retain enough physical memory to fight in formation. 7 exorcist corpses can reproduce fragments of the chain chant. 12 shield skeletons carry active reinforcement. Boros commands the heavy line. Morel controls infiltration. Garen remains incomplete on the forge, his bones slowly drinking royal essence. Queen Adrissa controls everything else. A system alert identifies the territory as a provisional necromantic domain. Maximum stable command population, 243. Current active population, 208. Command saturation, 85%. So there is a limit. Good. Limits can be engineered. I divide the army into 3 layers. The first receives direct soul fragments, 39 elites and specialists. The second receives rotating fragments through relay anchors carved into tunnel walls, 169 standard undead. The third remains dormant inside prepared positions, 886 corpses requiring no command until activation. A sleeping army does not consume authority. It only requires planning. I place skulls inside wall recesses, hands beneath floor stones, complete skeletons behind false masonry. Every passage becomes a weapon. Every grave becomes a reserve unit. If the palace invades, it will not enter my territory. It will enter the inside of a body waiting to close its fist. The forge counter remains at 76 debt fragments, 24 short. I acquire the rest without leaving the palace. Princess Isara provides them. She arrests every worker connected to the old mint. Coin cutters, stone haulers, retired clerks, a blind engraver who has not entered the building in 40 years. Her investigators interrogate all of them beneath the western barracks. They ask about Ashen agents. The prisoners know nothing. That makes them suspicious. Royal logic is wonderfully efficient. By dawn, 6 die under questioning. Each interrogator carries crown debt. Each dead prisoner leaves ordinary soul residue. I send Morel through the physician passages. She does not kill the interrogators immediately. She watches, records faces, counts keys. Then she begins moving evidence. One forged Republic coin appears in a prisoner's boot. A coded scrap appears inside another cell. Ashen ash is scattered beneath the interrogation table. The investigators find exactly what they expect. Their confidence hardens. Princess Ysara signs wider arrest orders. More innocent citizens enter the cells. More officers commit themselves to the lie. More debt accumulates. I allow the machinery to run for 2 days. Then Morel opens the lowest cell block. Not all the doors. Only 7. The prisoners escape through a route leading toward the abandoned mint. Royal guards pursue them. A dormant corpse inside the drainage channel rises long enough to kill one officer and drop an Ashen Republic token beside the body. The survivors report a foreign rescue network beneath the capital. By evening, Dane orders 300 soldiers into the southern tunnels, exactly where the mint evidence points, exactly away from the royal sanctuary. The enemy is not merely interacting with the bait. It is investing troops, arrests, and political authority into it. Queen Idrissa shows me the new defensive map. Red formations move south. The northern sanctuary corridor weakens. I send approval through the link. She does not respond. Instead, she alters the map. A second route appears beneath the first, then a third. She is not satisfied with the opening. She wants redundancy. I examine the alternatives. One enters through the old treasury. One passes beneath the king's bedchamber. One requires opening a royal gate from inside the sanctuary. The final route is impossible without a living blood key. Idrissa marks Princess Ysara. I look at her. The ghost's golden eye remains fixed. She wants the princess alive long enough to use her. That is not mercy. That is strategy. The distinction matters. I accept the plan. Queen Idrissa turns away. A faint pulse crosses the bond. Satisfaction. Her reactions are becoming clearer too. She does not enjoy rumors like Morel. She does not enjoy destruction like Boros. She enjoys complete plans. Plans with backups. Plans where every failure opens another attack route. A woman after my own non-existent heart. The 24th required debt fragment arrives inside General Mavrin. He enters my old office at sunset carrying an execution order for Lieutenant Sen, Captain Rael, and Standard Bearer Tovin. Their crime is possession of mourning ribbons. Mavrin signs the order on my former desk. The pen scratches across the page. I stand inside the wall behind him. Morel hangs above the ceiling. Queen Idrissa blocks every warded exit. Boros waits beneath the floor. Mavrin finishes the signature. The system marks 12 units of crown debt inside his soul. Not enough alone, but the 3 guards accompanying him carry 4 each. 24 total. Exactly what I need. The lamps go out. Mavrin reaches for his sword. Morel drops first. Her needles enter the wrists of all 3 guards before their blades clear their sheaths. Boros erupts through the floor. The desk flips. Mavrin falls beneath it. I step through the hidden panel. The new royal marshal stares at my broken crown. He tries to speak. I place one finger against the mouth of his helmet. Excessive organization, I say. His eyes widen. He remembers insulting my campaign records. Recognition follows. Corvin? I remove the desk from his chest. Then Boros places one foot over his heart. Mavrin's courage collapses. I never supported the execution. You accepted the sash. The prince commanded me. You burned the border plans. I can restore them. No. His mouth opens again. Boros steps down. The armor caves inward. General Mavrin dies beneath the desk he steals from me. The guards follow seconds later. 24 debt fragments enter my core. I return to the repository before the palace discovers the bodies. The forge waits. 100 fragments circle its center. Queen Idrissa stands on the opposite side of the table. Morel crouches in the rafters. Boros kneels beside the heavy line. Every active corpse turns toward me. I release the fragments. The black forge consumes all 100 at once. Every channel ignites. The repository shakes. Bone shelves collapse against the walls. Blue fire becomes completely black. A system announcement spreads through my entire domain. Permanent necromantic forge activated. Relay command unlocked. Elite anchors authorized. Territorial growth enabled. The pressure inside my crown expands. 208 active undead become clear in my awareness. Not separate fragments. Not individual threads. A structure. Squads. Ranks. Functions. I no longer hold every corpse directly. The forge holds them through me. Maximum stable command population rises from 243 to 1,000. Permanent animation becomes available for 9 elite anchors. I select Queen Idrissa first. The forge reaches for her. She does not recoil this time. She steps into the black flame willingly. Golden chains rise around her. Her damaged face becomes whole for a single instant. A crown of tactical sigils forms above her head. Armor closes around her ghostly body. A long spectral blade appears at her side, but she does not draw it. Her power is not the blade. It is the domain. Every tunnel map expands. Every undead position updates. Every hidden corpse receives a purpose. The system confirms her evolution. Elite Ghost Strategist, Idrissa of the Ninefold Campaign. Command relay capacity, 300 units. Independent tactical authority unlocked. 1 finishing maneuver authorized per major engagement. She looks directly at me. Then she moves one of my shield squads without asking permission. 3 skeletons abandon the eastern barricade and reinforce a weak ceiling support near the treasury route. A moment later, the stone cracks. Without the movement, the passage would collapse. Idrissa turns back. The message through our bond is unmistakable. I missed it. She did not. I incline my skull. Her golden expression becomes almost smug. Elite status suits her. I assign Boros the second anchor, Morel the third. The remaining 6 stay empty. Power should not be spent merely because it exists. By dawn, my empire beneath the capital contains 917 dormant corpses, 386 active soldiers, 39 specialists, 12 elite infantry, 3 permanent anchors, 4 fortified corridors, 2 external supply routes, and 1 functioning necromantic forge. Above me, Dane announces that the Ashen Republic has infiltrated Verithis. Princess Isara mobilizes the city guard around the abandoned mint. Queen Merla seals the entire royal bloodline inside the lower sanctuary. King Orzric survives by consuming the last unsealed ancestors. Every decision rests on the evidence I plant in Part 3 of this war. They believe the bait. They strengthen it. They build their survival plan on top of it. Queen Idrissa projects the palace as a golden battlefield. The sanctuary glows at its center. 318 royal skeletons wait inside. The entire living royal family now sleeps directly above them. I place one hand on the awakened forge. Hundreds of undead kneel through the tunnels, not because I command them to. Idrissa does. I look up toward the palace floor. The royal family thinks it has gathered its ancestors for protection. What it actually does is assemble my coronation army. The real Ashen Republic enters my war through a tunnel I invent for them. I notice the intrusion when 6 dormant skeletons beneath the abandoned mint lose their heads at exactly the same moment. No alarms. No broken wards. No hesitation. 1 second. The corpses wait inside the walls. The next, their skulls roll across the floor while foreign steel hums in the dark. That is inconvenient. Queen Idrissa's golden map opens across my vision. The southern route burns red. 7 living bodies move beneath the mint. 2 remain near the entrance. 4 advance in a diamond formation. 1 walks at the center without touching the ground. Not royal soldiers. Royal soldiers announce themselves with armor, prayers, and an almost religious commitment to predictable mistakes. These people move like professionals. Idrissa redirects 30 skeletons toward the southern choke point. I stop her, not because the intruders deserve mercy, because Dane's imaginary Ashen conspiracy has apparently attracted a real one. Destroying them before I know why would be wasteful. I send Morel instead. She drops from the repository ceiling, wraps herself in a physician's cloak, and disappears into the southern passage. Boros remains beside the forge. His reinforced frame is larger now. Black soul metal covers his shoulders. Each hand is thick enough to close around a man's chest. He watches the map. Then he taps one fist against the floor. Once. A request to follow. No. He taps again. Louder. You are subtle in the same way a collapsing cathedral is subtle. His blue eyes flare. Idrissa sends amusement through the soul link. Boros folds his arms. Apparently, permanent animation also unlocks sulking. I enter the old treasury route alone. Mostly alone. Idrissa moves through the walls beside me. Her evolved form no longer flickers when crossing warded stone. Golden armor covers her entire body. 9 tactical sigils orbit behind her head. Each represents a command path. 3. Control my outer tunnels. 2. Coordinate dormant reserves. 1 maintains the forged defenses. The remaining 3 stay dark, unused, or hidden. I have not asked which. That omission begins bothering me as I descend. Trust is a word sentimental men use when they stop checking details. I prefer verification. The southern passage narrows near the mint furnace. 6 decapitated skeletons lie across the floor. Their soul fragments return safely to the forge. The intruders know how to disable undead without burning the controlling souls. That is either courtesy or intelligence gathering. Neither reassures me. A black blade rests beside one corpse. Thin, curved, made from glassy volcanic metal found only beyond the ashen border. Real Republic equipment. So my false evidence does not merely resemble their work, it summons the owners. I continue. Morel's presence touches the soul link ahead. Stillness. Interest. Then a sharp double pulse. She finds something. I enter the furnace chamber. 4 foreign agents stand in the open. They wear ash-gray coats over flexible scale armor. Their faces are hidden behind smooth black masks with no mouths. 2 hold narrow swords. 1 carries a folding crossbow. The last supports an unconscious royal officer. Lieutenant Sen, the young officer who stops Captain Rael from attacking a senior guard over my mourning ribbon. His wrists are bound. Blood runs from his temple. A 7th intruder floats above the ruined furnace. A woman, not a ghost. Not exactly alive either. Gray cloth wraps her body from throat to ankle. Black ash circles her bare feet, holding her 1 inch above the ground. Her hair is white. Her eyes are darker than the masks around her. Morel crouches in the rafters directly above the woman. Her needles are aimed at 6 different arteries. The woman looks up. I know she is there, she says. Morel remains still. The woman turns toward me. I also know what is inside that crown. That is more interesting. I step into the chamber. The agents raise their weapons. The woman lifts 1 finger. They lower them. The person standing in front of me is probably the Republic's resident spymaster, I say, unless Ashen diplomats have become dramatically less diplomatic. Her mouth curves slightly. Vaska Rhine. The name is familiar. Director of the Republic's Quiet Ministry. Architect of 3 royal assassinations. Officially dead for 9 years. Apparently, death is becoming less exclusive. What do you want? I ask. The same thing you do. That answer is usually followed by betrayal. Then I will be specific. I want King Orsric removed, the sanctuary archives opened, and the covenant beneath Verithus destroyed. Not the kingdom, not the royal family, the covenant. Idrissa's 9 sigils stop moving, only for a fraction of a second. Vaska notices. So do I. She looks at the founder's ghost beside me. Idrissa. The name crosses the chamber like a blade. Queen Idrissa materializes completely. Her spectral sword leaves its sheath. Every agent reaches for a weapon. Vaska does not move. You remember me, she says. Idrissa's answer comes through the soul link as a burst of images. A battlefield covered in black snow. Foreign soldiers kneeling around a stone gate. A woman with Vaska's eyes standing beside Queen Idrissa while both press blood into the same covenant seal. Then fire. Betrayal. The images break. I look at Vaska. You are older than the Republic. Parts of me are. Not useful. I hate mystical answers. I point toward Lieutenant Sen. Why take him? He followed one of your mourning ribbons into the mint. I turn my skull toward the unconscious officer. So Tovin's group is searching for the truth. Brave. Stupid. Potentially valuable. Vaska continues. My agents found him before the Royal Patrol did. I kept him alive because he knows hidden routes into the northern barracks. That is not an alliance. No, this is. She removes a metal cylinder from inside her coat and places it on the floor. One of her agents kicks it toward me. I stop it beneath my foot. The seal belongs to Princess Ysara's Information Guild. Inside are copies of new execution orders. Captain Rael, Standard Bearer Tovin, 6 palace servants. Every person connected to the mourning ribbons. The executions begin at dawn. The royal family is cleaning the last pieces of my old command. Vasca watches me read. I can move them out of the capital. You can also recruit them. Yes, honest again. Dangerous people often are when they believe the truth gives them leverage. I roll the papers closed. What does the Republic receive? The lower sanctuary? No. The Covenant records? No. 1 hour inside the Founder's chamber? No. Her expression finally changes. Then you do not understand what the hollow crown is. Beside me, Idrissa raises her sword, not toward Vasca, toward me. The point rests against the center of my chest plate. Boros is 3 tunnels away. Morel remains above the enemy. My army waits under Idrissa's relay authority. For one cold instant, every structure I build depends on a companion whose history I do not know. The golden map vanishes. All 9 tactical sigils behind her head turn dark. My command connection to the southern domain weakens. Vasca smiles without warmth. There is the fracture. I do not move. Idrissa's sword can pass through armor and strike the soul holding this body together. If she attacks, I may survive. The domain will not. Hundreds of undead depend on her command relays. Destroying her would cripple the Empire before dawn. Trust would tell me to lower my guard. Fear would tell me to strike first. Both are emotional shortcuts. I examine the facts. Idrissa warns me away from consuming her. She protects the repository. She chooses Garen's route. She saves Boros's line. She exposes the weak treasury ceiling before it collapses. Every action preserves the army. Now she points a sword at me after Vasca mentions the Covenant. Not betrayal, a demand. I open my hand. No commands, I say. Idrissa's golden eye narrows. You are free to leave. Vasca's agents shift. Morel drops from the rafters. She lands between me and Idrissa, not facing the ghost, facing Vasca. Her needles remain aimed at the foreigners. She chooses the external threat before I give an order. Idrissa looks at her. Morel taps 2 fingers against her wrist. Once. Twice. The rhythm she uses before killing. Then she points one needle toward me, another toward Idrissa, a connection. Her meaning is crude, clear. Fight later. Kill intruders first. Boros enters the chamber by removing half the doorway. Stone explodes inward. He squeezes through the opening and places himself beside Morel. Apparently, my refusal is no longer relevant. He looks from Idrissa to me. Then he strikes his own chest with one fist. The sound shakes dust from the ceiling. A declaration. His anchor remains mine. Morel's remains mine. Idrissa's sword does not move. The alliance I build among the dead is not based on affection, it is based on repeated function. Morel trusts Idrissa's plans. Boros trusts her battlefield commands. They also trust me not to consume them when efficiency would permit it. That structure is stronger than a hidden memory. I reach up and close my hand around Idrissa's spectral blade, cold tears through my palm. You can explain, I say, or you can leave, but you do not get to control my army while keeping the enemy's target secret. Her expression becomes savage. The soul link opens. Not a memory fragment this time. Everything. Queen Idrissa stands in the Founder's chamber centuries ago. This is collapsing. 7 river kings surround the capital. Famine spreads through the streets. The first Ashen priesthood offers her a covenant. Bind every crowned descendant to the land. The dead will power the wards. The living monarch will command the dead. The kingdom will survive forever. Idrissa accepts. Then she discovers the final clause. The covenant does not serve the monarch. It feeds on royal betrayal, every unlawful execution, every stolen succession, every murdered heir. Each act strengthens the mechanism beneath the city. The throne becomes more powerful as the bloodline becomes more corrupt. Idrissa tries to destroy it. Her sons accuse her of treason. They execute her. The covenant takes her body as its central vessel. The hollow crown does not choose me because I am a necromancer. It chooses me because the royal family executes an innocent commander under royal authority. My death completes a debt threshold. I am not merely a user. I am the covenant's next judge. And when the debt is fully collected, the system will demand a final choice. Bind the entire kingdom to a new crown, or destroy the covenant and release every royal soul powering Verthis. Destroying it may collapse the palace wards, the border gates, the treasury seals, possibly the city foundations. Vasca wants that collapse. The Republic can invade afterward. Idrissa hides the truth because she fears I will choose power. Reasonable. Insulting. Completely reasonable. The memory ends. Her sword remains in my hand. I look at Vasca. You expect me to destroy the Covenant? Yes. And let the Republic cross the border. I expect Verethis to become weak enough to negotiate. Countries do not negotiate with open throats. Vasca says nothing. There is the betrayal, not immediate, structural. Her offer saves my officers and advances my plan. Her desired ending destroys the kingdom I spent my life defending. An alliance can exist without shared victory. It only needs shared distance. I release Idrissa's sword. Restore the map. She does not. I continue. I am not binding the kingdom to another corrupt throne. One sigil behind her headlights. I am also not collapsing Verethis for the Republic. A second ignites. I will reach the Founder's chamber before Vasca does. I will inspect the Covenant myself. Then I decide. The remaining 7 sigils blaze gold. The southern map returns. Every command line stabilizes. Idrissa sheathes her sword. Not forgiveness. Agreement. Better. I turn to Vasca. You move the condemned soldiers through the western sewer gate before dawn. And in return? You receive copies of the Covenant? Records after I remove anything that can be used to invade the capital. She laughs once. That is not enough. It is more than you have now. Her agents tense. Boros leans forward. Morel's needles slide from her fingers. Vasca looks at Idrissa. The Founder does not support her. She looks at Lieutenant Sen. Her leverage is breathing badly on the floor. Finally, she nods. One additional condition. My people accompany your assault on the sanctuary. No. Then there is no agreement. 2 observers. Unarmed. They stay behind my front line. 4, 2, 3. 2. And I do not raise them if they die. Vasca smiles. Agreed. I hate negotiations. They are battles where no one has the decency to bleed. We move immediately. Vasca's agents carry Lieutenant Sen toward the western route. Morel follows them through the walls, not as an escort, as insurance. Idrissa redirects dormant skeletons away from the passage, then seals every alternate exit behind the foreigners. Boros returns to the forge and mobilizes the heavy line. Each companion performs without hesitation. The fracture does not disappear. It becomes visible. Visible weaknesses can be reinforced. Hidden ones cannot. Before dawn, Lieutenant Sen wakes inside the abandoned treasury chamber. He sees me standing beside the forge. His face drains of color. Marshal? I remove the black ribbon from Morel's hand and place it on the table between us. You have 32 soldiers marked for execution. His shock becomes focus. That is why he remains useful. Captain Rael and Tovin are still in the northern barracks. Vasca's people are opening the western gate. The Ashen Republic? Temporarily. He stares at me. You trust them? No. Then why? Because trust is not required when every exit is trapped. Idrissa's map opens above the forge. The evacuation routes glow. So do the Republic agents. So do Morel's needles hidden near their throats. Sen looks at the army assembled beneath the palace. Hundreds of dead soldiers stand in silent ranks. Boros waits at their head. Idrissa controls the battlefield from above. The young officer slowly closes his hand around the mourning ribbon. What do you need from us? Not loyalty. Not worship. Not revenge. A function. You will remain alive, I say. You will gather everyone the crown intends to erase. And when the palace begins hunting the wrong enemy, you will make sure it keeps looking south. Above us, the first execution bells ring. Princess Isara believes her purge is beginning. Instead, 32 condemned soldiers disappear through a foreign escape route. The Republic believes it gains an opening into the Founder's chamber. Instead, Idrissa marks every one of its agents for containment. My companions know the truth now. The Hollow Crown may eventually force a choice between ruling Verethis and saving it. I do not know which mechanism can be broken. I do know one thing. No crown, living or dead, makes that choice for me. Crown Prince Dane declares victory from the same scaffold where I lose my head. The marble is clean now. My blood is gone. The execution block has been replaced with a golden podium surrounded by captured ashen banners. None of the banners belong to the agents beneath the city. 3 come from the Palace Museum. 2 are sewn overnight. The last is upside down. No one in Crown Square notices. 20,000 citizens stand beneath the summer sun while Diane raises both hands. This has crushed the foreign conspiracy. The crowd roars because royal guards stand between every row. Talk about spontaneous patriotism. I watch from the bell tower of an abandoned temple overlooking the square. A funeral cloak hides my armor. The shadow beneath its hood hides the blue fire in my skull. Queen Idrissa floats inside the cracked bronze bell above me. Her golden map covers its inner surface. Princess Isara stands behind the royal platform. Queen Merla sits beneath a white canopy. King Orsric is absent again. General Mavrin is also absent. The palace announces that he is coordinating the southern counteroffensive. His corpse is currently holding up part of my treasury tunnel. He finally becomes useful. Dane points toward 12 prisoners kneeling beneath the scaffold. Their faces are covered. Their hands are bound. Ash-gray coats hang from their shoulders. The clothes are genuine. The prisoners are not. They are smugglers, debtors, and political irritants taken from the western cells. The Quiet Ministry removes its real agents before dawn. Princess Isara needs foreign conspirators for a public victory, so she manufactures them. I almost respect the efficiency. Almost. The traitor Corvin Vale opened the first gate to our enemies. Dane announces. The Hollow Marshal continued his work beneath our streets. The crowd begins shouting my name. Not with mourning this time, with hatred. The palace spends 3 days feeding them stories. Children disappearing into plague tunnels. Infants stolen from graves. Dead soldiers forced to murder their families. None of it happens. Reality has never been a royal requirement. Diane draws the silver sword I once give him. The conspiracy ends today. He cuts down the first prisoner himself. The man's head falls beside the golden podium. The crowd erupts. Dane smiles. There it is. The prince stands at the center of the capital, wearing my armor, holding my sword, claiming victory over an enemy I create. His arrogance is no longer private. It becomes state policy. Queen Merla rises after the 12th execution. Her voice carries through amplification crystals hidden beneath the platform. The royal sanctuary now holds every sacred ancestor of Verithis. No foreign sorcerer can touch our bloodline. No corpse can cross our wards. No traitor can challenge the divine authority of the crown. She raises her burned hand. The lace glove hides the damage. White fire erupts from the chapel towers behind the palace. 7 columns climb into the sky. The crowd falls to its knees. I feel the flames through the hollow crown. 318 complete royal skeletons react beneath the sanctuary. Their bones tremble inside sealed coffins. The white fire does not protect them. It drains them. Queen Myrla is displaying the mechanism as a symbol of strength while it consumes her own ancestors. Brutally appropriate. Princess Isara steps toward the edge of the platform. She does not smile. Not yet. Dane looks at her. Tell them. She hesitates for one heartbeat. Then she raises a captured black mask. Agents of the Ashen Republic have confessed to serving the Hollow Marshal. False. The prisoners confess after losing fingers. The creature beneath the city possesses fewer than 500 active corpses. Close enough to be dangerous. It cannot leave the plague tunnels without losing control of them. Incorrect. It cannot enter consecrated ground. Already disproven. And it requires stolen royal essence to preserve its strongest servants. That part is true. The crowd cannot tell the difference. Neither can Dane. He spreads his arms toward the city. So let the corpse hide underground. Laughter rolls through Crown Square. We have sealed its roots. We have destroyed its foreign allies. We have gathered the royal dead beyond its reach. By the end of this week, I will personally descend beneath Verithis and place its broken crown beside Corvin Vale's traitorous name. The crowd chants for him. Dine, dine, dine. He turns toward the painted palace towers as though he already wears the crown. King Orsric remains alive. The prince is celebrating succession before the bed cools. Royal tradition continues to impress me. Idrissa sends a tactical pulse through our bond. Movement beneath the scaffold. I lower my gaze. 6 sanctuary priests stand inside a hidden chamber below Crown Square. A crystal conduit rises from their circle into the golden podium. Every execution feeds soul energy upward. The prisoners' deaths are powering Dane's public miracle. He does not know. Queen Merla does. Princess Isara probably suspects. The first prisoner gives one ordinary soul fragment. The second gives another. The guards performing the executions carry crown debt. The priests directing the theft carry more. The podium is collecting everything. For the king, or for the covenant. I reach through the extraction mark already connected to my forge. The conduit answers, not fully. The sanctuary has strengthened its seals since my first reversal. I cannot take the souls. I can mark them. One by one, 12 fresh fragments pass beneath the scaffold. I press a trace of hollow crown authority into each. No visible effect, no alarm. Just 12 seeds entering the royal network. Idrissa watches the process. Her 9 tactical sigils rotate faster. The dark center behind them begins pulsing. A 10th shape tries to form. Not gold. Black. The system alert appears across my vision. Companion sovereign pathway detected. Evolution conditions incomplete. Idrissa feels it. Her entire ghostly body goes still. The 10th sigil appears for half a second. It resembles a crown split down the middle. Then it vanishes. A second notification follows. Required conditions unknown. Founder covenant exposure insufficient. Independent judgment threshold approaching. Unknown conditions. Naturally, Idrissa turns toward me. I expect caution. Instead, she presses one hand against the bronze bell. The golden map expands across the entire tower. Every royal ward line appears. Every conduit. Every sealed coffin. Every seed I place beneath the scaffold. She begins connecting them. Not under my command. By choice. Golden threads spread from the 12 marked fragments toward the sanctuary. She is preparing something. I study the pattern. It is not an attack, it is a relay. When the marked souls enter the covenant network, they will carry her tactical authority with them. Not enough to raise the royal family. Enough to map every internal seal from inside. She is building the final battlefield before we reach it. The black sigil flickers again. Evolution pending. Good. I leave the tower while Dane continues accepting worship. The streets around Crown Square overflow with celebrations. Merchants sell tiny silver replicas of the prince's sword. Children wear paper crowns. Actors drag fake skeletons through the roads and let citizens break them with sticks. One wooden corpse wears a cracked black crown. A drunk soldier kicks its head into a fountain. "The Hollow Marshal," he shouts. His friends laugh. I pass within 3 feet of them. None look beneath my hood. A royal proclamation hangs from every wall. The southern tunnels are secure. The Ashen conspiracy is broken. The royal dead are protected. The crown offers silver for any information about mourning ribbon sympathizers. Confidence is becoming contagious. That is exactly what I need. At the old barracks, guards remove the final black ribbons from the railing. No new ones appear. Princess Isara believes the purge succeeds. In reality, Sen moves the surviving officers into forgotten storehouses beneath the Western District. Vasca's agents provide food. Morel provides surveillance. No group trusts the other. Perfect balance. I enter the underground command chamber through a collapsed well. Lieutenant Sen waits beside a map of the capital. Captain Rael and Tovin stand with him. 32 condemned soldiers occupy the room. 6 palace servants. 4 clerks. 2 sanctuary workers. Every person the crown tries to erase now belongs to a network it does not know exists. They fall silent when I enter. Some kneel. I stop them with one raised hand. Standing is faster. They stand. Tovin still wears the black ribbon around his wrist. Captain Rael looks toward my skeletal face. The prince says the tunnels are sealed. They are. His expression tightens. I point to the map. For him. Sen almost smiles. Almost. I mark 3 southern entrances. The Royal Army sends 500 soldiers into these routes tomorrow. How do you know? Rael asks. Dane announces victory before reading his own deployment orders. Sen places wooden tokens across the map. What do you want us to do? Lose. The room becomes still. Tovin looks at me. Marshal? You will let the royal scouts find this chamber. Rael's hand moves toward his sword. Not to draw it, habit. You want them to find us? I want them to find uniforms, ashen weapons, tunnel maps, and evidence that the Republic command post abandons the position minutes before capture. Sen understands first. They will believe they are pushing the enemy back. Yes. And we move west while they continue south. Yes. Rael studies the map. They will commit more soldiers. Yes. How many? All of them, if Dane remains himself. That earns a few dark laughs. I give them the forged route prepared in the mint. The outdated corridor map. The same deception Princess Ysera already doubts. Sen sees the reversed ashen symbol. This is intentionally wrong. Yes. Why? Because Ysera needs something to question. Rael frowns. I thought we wanted them to believe it. We want Dane to believe it. We want Merla to profit from it. We want Ysera to suspect it and continue anyway. The room remains silent. That is the difference between a lie and a trap. A lie needs everyone convinced. A trap needs each person to act according to their own weakness. Dane wants glory. Merla wants royal souls concentrated in the sanctuary. Orzrik wants more life. Ysera wants control. The same false conspiracy gives each of them a different reason to preserve it. Sen slowly nods. What happens when the princess proves the evidence false? She will already be too invested to admit it publicly. And if she changes course? Then Idrissa opens the second route. I point toward the wall. Queen Idrissa materializes through it. Several soldiers reach for weapons. She ignores them. Her golden map unfolds above the table. 3 plans appear. The false southern retreat. The sanctuary infiltration. The founder's chamber route. Then a 4th plan forms beneath them. I have never seen it. A narrow path from Crown Square directly into the Covenant core. Idrissa creates it using the 12 marked souls from the executions, an internal relay. She does not wait for my approval. She completes the plan and marks the activation condition. Dane must conduct 1 more public execution using the golden podium. The next victims are scheduled in 2 days. Lieutenant Sen reads the projected route. She designed this now? Yes. Idrissa turns toward me. The black split-crown sigil flashes behind her head. A system message follows independent strategic creation confirmed. Sovereign evolution progress increased. There is the preparation. Not a new weapon. Not a larger body. A will strong enough to command an entire battlefield without borrowing mine. In the final confrontation, that may matter more than raw power. Sen looks between us. You trust her to control the assault? Idrissa's golden eye fixes on him. I answer before she does. I trust her to improve it. The distinction satisfies her. A faint surge of pride crosses the bond. The next day unfolds exactly as planned. Royal Scouts discover the abandoned Western Chamber. They find ashen uniforms, Republic weapons, maps showing a retreat toward the southern aqueduct. Dane receives the report during a banquet celebrating his victory. He does not finish reading it. He orders an immediate pursuit. Princess Ysera objects. The route is too obvious. Dine pours wine over the map. They are fleeing. They may want us to follow. They are frightened. We have no confirmation. He looks around the banquet hall. Generals, ministers, foreign envoys, every important witness in the capital. Then he gives his sister the one thing she cannot tolerate. Public humiliation. You saw one skeleton steal a blessing, and now every shadow terrifies you. The nobles laugh carefully. Ysera's face becomes completely blank. Dane continues. Perhaps intelligence work has made you too cautious for war. There it is. Peak arrogance. The prince who never wins a battle questions the only royal mind capable of seeing my trap. Queen Merla does not defend her daughter. She wants the army south. Every soldier moved away from the sanctuary leaves fewer witnesses to the extraction of royal souls. King Orzrik signs the order from his sickbed. 500 soldiers march into the aqueduct before midnight. 200 more follow at dawn. General Mavrin's fictional Southern Command receives official authority over the operation. No one asks why he never sends a written response. The palace explains his silence as operational security. Honestly, the dead man's reputation improves by the hour. Princess Ysera watches the troops leave. She knows something is wrong. She also knows opposing Dane now makes her look weak, so she sends her own investigators after the army rather than stopping it. More investment, more officers, more resources, more of the Royal Information Guild committed to the lie. The trap tightens itself. From the forge, I watch red markers flood the southern map. 700 royal soldiers, 40 exorcists, 60 intelligence agents, 3 siege teams, all moving away from the sanctuary. Dane stands on the palace balcony above them wearing ceremonial gold. Citizens chant his name again. He lifts my silver sword toward the sky. Bring me the hollow marshal's crown. I place one hand on the awakened forge. 900 dormant corpses open their eyes beneath the city. Idrissa's 10th sigil flickers. Morel sharpens her soul-piercing needles against a royal priest's ring. Boros lifts a gate-breaking hammer forged from the abandoned mint press. Garen Holt rises from the black table. For the first time, he remains standing without a fragment inside his skull. Blue royal essence flows through every crack in his bones. A system alert crosses my vision, elite royal duelist evolution, pending, final catalyst required. He reaches for a sword that does not exist. Idrissa looks toward the sanctuary. The marked souls beneath Crown Square enter the Covenant network one by one. Every internal seal becomes visible. Every coffin receives a golden number. Every hidden route opens across the map. Above us, the royal family celebrates the complete destruction of an enemy that has not attacked yet. I study the sanctuary. 318 royal skeletons. 746 partial remains. 49 sealed skulls. 4 living royals. 1 covenant. The entire battlefield is finally assembled. Dane believes he drives me into a corner. What he actually does is empty the palace, centralize my army, insult his best strategist, and announce his victory before the battle begins. I almost feel guilty. Almost. Princess Ysara finds the reversed ashen symbol before sunrise. Of course she does. She stands inside the abandoned command chamber beneath the Western District, with one gloved finger resting against the forged mark. The curve turns inward. A real quiet ministry cipher turns outward. The error is small enough for Dane to miss, large enough for Ysara to understand that someone wants it discovered. I watch through a brass beetle pinned beneath the map table. The creature is not alive. It is not entirely dead either. Morel constructs it from a rat skull, 2 finger bones, and the hearing crystal stolen from a sanctuary priest. No soul fragment. No combat value. Only a narrow sensory thread connected to the forge, a useful little monstrosity. Ysara crouches beside it without seeing it. 3 intelligence officers wait behind her. The first is Master Caldus, commander of the Royal Cipher Bureau. The second is Lady Navarra, Ysara's personal interrogator. The third is a thin man named Oren Pell who spends 20 years studying Republic infiltration patterns. All 3 carry more crown debt than most murderers. That tells me everything I need to know about intelligence work under this family. Pell examines the symbol. This is incorrect. Dane's field commander stands near the doorway. Lord Kezran wears polished siege armor inside a dusty cellar. He also wears the expression of a man who receives his rank from family connections and intends to defend it with volume. The prisoners confirm the route, he says. The prisoners confirm whatever Lady Navarra asks them to confirm. Pell replies. Navarra smiles. Not offended. Proud. Ysara lifts the forged tunnel map. The old treasury corridor is drawn exactly where Idrissa remembers it 2 centuries ago. The passage collapses 60 years before my execution. A current Ashen agent would know that after 1 scouting attempt. A royal investigator comparing ancient records would notice. Ysara notices. This chamber is arranged, she says. Kezran folds his arms. Arranged by fleeing spies. No. She points at the broken support rope above the abandoned table. The dust beneath that beam is disturbed in a straight line. Someone drops it after moving the furniture. Queen Idrissa stands beside me in the repository. Her golden eye turns toward Morel. Morel sits on a high shelf, sharpening one needle against another. She feels Idrissa's attention and slowly tilts her porcelain mask. The cut rope is her work. The clean line beneath it is mine. A flaw. Tiny, real, useful. A perfect trap looks impossible. An imperfect one looks human. Ysara continues. The burial pages carry chapel wax. Caldus nods. No Republic agent should possess it. Unless someone inside the palace supplied them, Kezran says. He wants the foreign conspiracy to be true. Not because the evidence convinces him, because Diane promises land to whoever destroys it. Greed does what fear cannot. It makes doubt profitable to ignore. Pell studies the route map. The southern aqueduct shown here is dry. It was dry, Kesrin replies. Recent floods may have opened it. There have been no floods. The Undercity shifts. The Undercity does not redraw cipher marks. Isara lowers the map. For one moment, her suspicion becomes certainty. The Hollow Marshal built this room for us. Silence follows. Even Kesrin stops pretending. Lady Navarra looks toward the corridor. Then the army is walking into a prepared kill zone. Yes. We recall them? Isara's jaw tightens. That is the correct decision. It is also politically impossible. Dane announces victory from Crown Square. King Orsric signs the deployment. Queen Merla empties the palace guard to protect the sanctuary's secret. Recalling the soldiers means admitting the prince is wrong. Admitting the prince is wrong means questioning the public executions. Questioning those means reopening my trial. Every lie supports the next. Pull one stone, and the entire palace begins collapsing. Isara knows it. I feel the realization settle across her face. Kesrin speaks first. The prince promises the command of the southern territories to the officer who captures the creature. There it is. Not survival. Reward, he looks at the map again. If the Hollow Marshal prepares a trap, then it is protecting something. Pell turns toward him. That conclusion is not supported by, it is hiding beneath our capital with stolen royal essence and an army of corpses. Kesrin strikes one armored finger against the aqueduct route. If we withdraw now, it grows stronger. Lady Navarra studies Isara. The sanctuary extraction is failing. His Majesty requires another royal reserve before the end of the week. She should not say that in front of the others. Caldus pretends not to hear. Pell does not. His expression changes. The king's illness is becoming a liability even inside the intelligence guild. Isara folds the forged map. Continue the advance. Pell stares at her. Highness. Slowly. The route is false. Parts of it are false. That distinction does not save soldiers. No. It gives us a chance to identify what the enemy is concealing. She turns toward Kesrin. No direct pursuit. Establish fortified positions at every junction. Send condemned prisoners ahead of the main force. Mark every corpse. Burn anything that moves twice. Kesrin bows. He receives permission to keep chasing glory, and hears only the word continue. Isara looks at the reversed symbol again. Her suspicion remains. She simply chooses investment over retreat. Not greed for land. Greed for control. She believes one more layer of information will place the situation back inside her hands. Everyone thinks their own weakness is logic. I withdraw from the brass beetle. The forge chamber returns around me. Idrissa's golden map hovers above the black table. 700 royal soldiers occupy the southern tunnels. After Isara's new orders, another 200 leave the western barracks. 24 execution prisoners march at the front. 40 sanctuary acolytes carry portable funeral flames. 6 siege engines are dismantled and lowered through the mint shafts. They are not preparing to hunt a fugitive. They are building an underground occupation. Every crate of food, every warding post, every reinforced junction, every officer promoted for the campaign. Each one pushes the crown deeper into the lie. Sen's hidden network tracks the movement from the Western District. Vasca's agents watch from abandoned water channels. My dormant corpses lie 6 inches behind the walls around both groups. No one has the advantage they think they possess. I point at the first royal position. Let them build it. Boros strikes his hammer against the floor. He wants to attack. His answer to most strategic questions remains violence. I mark the second position. And this one. He leans closer to the map. I mark the third. Their food depot. Then the fourth. Their funeral. Flame reserve. Boros's eyes burn brighter. He understands now. We are not letting the army advance. We are letting it deliver everything needed to sustain a siege. To us. Idrissa rotates 3 tactical sigils. Golden lines appear beneath the royal positions. Old corpse channels, collapsed crypt vents, drainage slits too narrow for living soldiers, wide enough for fingers. Morel slides down from the shelf. She taps the map beside Lord Kezron's command post. Once. Twice. She wants him. Not yet. Her needles extend. I know. She points toward the golden reward seal beside Kezron's name, the prince's promised southern command. Then she points toward a narrow chamber beneath the post. a burial shaft. She wants to leave the man alive long enough to watch his prize become his grave. That is unnecessarily cruel. I approve. The army spends the next 3 days fortifying the aqueduct. They encounter almost no resistance. A few plague skeletons appear at the edge of torchlight. Royal exorcists destroy them. A ghoul drags one supply officer into a side tunnel. The soldiers recover half his body and call the exchange a victory. Dane receives each report in the throne hall. By the 4th message, he stops reading casualty numbers. By the 6th, he orders painters to begin a mural of the campaign. By the 9th, he announces that the Hollow Marshal is trapped beneath the southern quarter. The palace map shows my territory shrinking. In reality, I voluntarily abandon empty tunnels while their army moves farther from the sanctuary. Every surrendered corridor contains listening skulls. Every destroyed corpse sends its fragment safely back through Idrissa's relay. Every royal ward post becomes another location marked for seizure. The soldiers believe they are burning my resources. They are revealing theirs. Queen Merla deepens the mistake. The portable funeral flames consume refined essence faster than expected. She orders the sanctuary priests to extract more from the gathered royal remains. Another 27 ancestors vanish from Idrissa's map. The founder watches each golden coffin turn black. No emotion crosses her restored face. The soul link says otherwise. The pressure becomes painfully cold. Those bones are not strangers to her. Some belong to descendants. Some belong to children she never lives long enough to meet. All are consumed by the family claiming to honor them. I place one hand against the forge. Not yet. Idrissa's 10th sigil flickers. The split crown remains incomplete. She could strike through the extraction network now. She could sabotage the sanctuary. She could save a few coffins. Doing so would expose our internal relay before the battlefield is ready. She knows it. That does not make waiting easier. Her golden blade appears at her side. She grips the hilt, then releases it. Independent judgment threshold increased, the system reports. Not obedience. Choice. The distinction feeds her evolution. Garen stands on the opposite side of the forge. Royal essence fills his reconstructed skeleton. Black armor grows in thin plates across his ribs. He still reaches for an absent sword whenever the sanctuary conduits activate. The final catalyst remains missing. I know what it is now, not any sword. Dane's sword? Mine. The silver blade I give him after Red Hollow is forged from oath metal. It remembers the hand that earns it. Dane uses it for executions and speeches. Garen's royal essence reacts every time the weapon enters the Covenant network. The dead duelist does not want steel. He wants the corrupted oath inside it. Chekhov would appreciate the simplicity. I send Morel above ground. She enters the palace during the changing of the Western Guard. Her physician's cloak has been replaced with the black robes of a sanctuary acolyte. A porcelain prayer mask covers her face. Her reconstructed hand holds a tray of royal essence vials. No one looks closely at servants carrying power toward the king. Through her sensory thread, I feel the palace becoming emptier. The southern campaign drains the barracks. The sanctuary drains the priests. The public executions drain the prisons. Only ceremonial guards remain near the throne hall. Dane stands inside with Lord Kesran's latest report open in one hand. My sword rests across his knees. Princess Ysara watches him from the steps below. The advance stops here, she says. Dane does not look up. Kesran reaches the final aqueduct gate. The gate does not exist. It is on the recovered map. The recovered map is false. So, you keep saying, because it is. He throws the report toward her. The parchment lands at her feet. Kesran finds storage chambers, corpse stations, and command marks. The creature is retreating. It is provisioning us. Dane laughs. You think the corpse is feeding our soldiers? I think every position we build becomes valuable to whoever controls the tunnels. After us. That is almost exactly correct. Dane rises. My sword catches the throne room light. And who controls them now? Ysara looks at the blade, then at him. We occupy passages it chooses to abandon. We conquer. We follow. His expression hardens. The nobles lining the walls become very quiet. Dane steps down until he stands directly above his sister. You are becoming tiresome. Ysara's suspicion sharpens. She sees the trap. She sees his vanity. She sees the kingdom moving toward disaster. Then Queen Merla enters from the sanctuary wing. The king requires the Covenant chamber opened. Isara turns. Why? The lower reserves no longer respond to extraction. Because Idrissa's marked souls have reached the internal seals, the machinery is beginning to resist, Merla continues. The Founder's chamber contains the original control altar. Isara looks toward the sealed doors beneath the throne. The same doors I need opened from inside. The chamber is forbidden. Your father is dying. Diane grips my sword tighter. If the Founder's altar can restore him, open it. Isara says nothing. There it is. The final doubt. The old records warn that the Founder's chamber should never be opened while royal blood gathers inside the sanctuary. The conditions are too close to the Covenant's original activation. She knows this. I see it in the way she studies the floor seals. Then King Orsric screams from the bedchamber beyond. The sound is weak. Wet. Terrified. Queen Merla reaches for her daughter's arm. Open it. Isara closes her eyes. 1 heartbeat. 2. When they open again, control wins over caution. I will supervise the opening personally. Not because she trusts the altar, because she cannot allow anyone else to reach it first. Greed again, not for gold. For the final answer, Morel remains motionless in the servant alcove outside the throne room. No one notices the thin black thread slipping from her sleeve. It crawls across the floor, passes beneath the royal doors, touches the first Founder seal. The mark connects to Idrissa's relay. Far below, the golden map changes. One locked route turns blue, then another. The royal family begins opening the Founder's chamber. In the southern tunnels, Lord Kezran orders his men to break through the final aqueduct gate. The siege engine strikes ancient stone. Once, twice. On the third impact, the wall cracks. A trickle of black water slips through. The soldiers cheer. It seems insignificant. A leaking gate. A loose seal. Nothing more. I watch the black droplet reach the floor of my repository through a channel carved centuries ago. It lands in the center of the awakened forge. Every dormant corpse beneath Varethis opens its eyes. Idrissa's marked souls illuminate the sanctuary from within. Morel's thread reaches the Founder's chamber. Boros lifts the mint-forged hammer. Garen turns toward Dane's sword. The final aqueduct seal is broken. The internal palace route is opening. The royal army is fully committed underground. The royal family is fully committed above it. 1 drop of water spreads across the black forge. The entire machine is ready. The final aqueduct gate breaks, and the southern army floods directly into my territory. Not metaphorically. Black water explodes through the cracked seal and knocks the first 3 ranks from their feet. Siege crews lose their hammers. Exorcists lose their lanterns. Lord Kezran loses the expression of a man expecting a promotion. The water reaches the corpse channels beneath the floor. Every carved groove fills at once. The forge answers. A system announcement burns across my vision. Territorial circuit completed. Dormant deployment authorized. Provisional domain expanded. 900 corpses rise behind the royal army. Not in front, behind. Hands break through the stone they reinforced 3 days earlier. Skeletons unfold inside food depots. Plague bodies crawl from beneath sleeping platforms. The supply barrels Kezran orders stacked against the walls burst open, revealing skulls hidden beneath the grain. Every position they build becomes a cage. Every warding post becomes a marker. Every fortified junction gives my dead a perfect line of attack. I stand beside the awakened forge while Queen Idrissa turns the entire southern map black. Golden roots vanish. Royal positions close. Red markers begin disappearing. Lord Kezran shouts through a command crystal. Maintain formation. His soldiers try. The front ranks face the broken aqueduct. The rear ranks face my undead. The middle ranks face one another and begin panicking. Funeral flames ignite. Portable lanterns release white fire into the flooded corridors. The water carries it backward. Sanctified heat burns through royal boots, royal supply crates, and royal siege oil. One acolyte drops his lantern. The oil catches. A column of flame erupts beneath Lord Kezran's command platform. He leaps away before the structure collapses. Morel is waiting beneath it. Her porcelain mask rises through the smoke. Kezran recognizes the sanctuary robes. For one hopeful instant, he mistakes her for help. Then her soul-piercing needles enter both his ankles. He falls. She does not kill him. She drags him toward the burial shaft she chooses days ago. His promised territory. His prepared grave. Talk about efficient administration. Idrissa sends me the first casualty count. 31 royal soldiers dead, 17 soul fragments recovered, 9 carrying crown debt. The number climbs every second. I do not activate the full army yet. The royal formation still possesses discipline. Fear has not completely replaced command. The first stage requires impact. They receive it. Boros enters the southern corridor through the gate they break. His mint-forged hammer rests across one shoulder. Black soul metal covers his entire frame. Behind him march 12 reinforced shield skeletons and 21 dead royal soldiers. The living troops recognize the uniforms. That causes more damage than the weapons. One soldier lowers his spear. His dead captain drives a shield into his face. Another calls the name of a brother who dies in the plague tunnel. The skeleton does not answer. It cuts him down. Boros reaches the first barricade. The royal soldiers hide behind timber, iron braces, and sanctuary seals. A position designed to survive an assault from the south. Boros approaches from the north. He swings once. The hammer caves in the entire structure. Wood, armor, and bodies fly through the corridor. He steps through the wreckage. A sanctuary acolyte throws white fire into his chest. The flames spread across his armor. Boros keeps walking. The priest throws more. Boros catches him by the head and uses him to extinguish the lantern against the wall. The system records an elite anchor execution. Boros strikes his own chest. Once. Loud enough for the entire tunnel to hear. The royal soldiers retreat. Now fear begins replacing command, exactly on schedule. I watch through Idrissa's map while the palace opens the founder's chamber above us. Princess Ysara presses her blood against the first seal. Queen Merla presses hers against the second. Dane refuses to cut his palm until the king orders him. King Osric cannot stand, so priests carry him toward the final altar on a golden chair. 4 living royals. 1 original covenant chamber. 318 complete royal skeletons directly beneath them. The conditions align. The black water reaches the last channel around my forge. A circle closes. The awakened table splits down the center. Something beneath it begins moving. Not a creature. A mechanism. Ancient gears turn beneath the capital. Chains tighten through the walls. The royal sanctuary shakes. Every coffin inside shifts 1 inch toward the founder's chamber. Queen Merla looks around. What was that? Princess Ysara sees the answer first. The transfer system. Dane draws my silver sword. Who activated it? No one answers. Then the command crystal at his belt begins screaming. Lord Kesrin's voice breaks through static. Highness, the tunnels are compromised. Dane grips the crystal. How many? All of them. The prince looks towards Ysara. She does not say I warned you. She does not need to. Kesrin continues. The corpses were inside the walls. They were beneath our stores. They were waiting in the positions we built. There it is. The connection, the abandoned command rooms, the false retreat, the fortified junctions, the supplies. The entire southern campaign is not merely a path into my trap. It constructs the trap for me. Princess Ysara closes her eyes. The mint, she says. Queen Merla turns. What? The evidence beneath the mint was placed so we would move the royal dead. The false roots were placed so we would move the army. Every response strengthened the same mechanism. Dane's face drains of color. No, you built his fortress. The words strike harder than any weapon. Dane throws the command crystal against the wall. It shatters. That would be satisfying if it were not also completely useless. The royal family begins arguing at once. Merla blames Ysara for failing to expose the deception. Ysara blames Dane for pursuing it after she identifies the flaws. Dane blames the dead General Mavrin for the campaign. Osric blames everyone for delaying his treatment. The founder's chamber doors seal behind them. None notice until the argument stops. King Osric points toward the doors. Open them. The sanctuary priests try. Nothing happens. The Covenant has accepted all 4 blood keys. The chamber no longer recognizes them as visitors. It recognizes them as participants. Queen Idrissa's 10th sigil flickers above the forge. The split black crown becomes clearer. Independent judgment threshold nearly complete. She reaches through the 12 marked souls embedded inside the Covenant network. Internal seals unlock. Coffins rotate. Golden chains detach from royal bones and reconnect to her command relays. The founder's ghost becomes the rightful authority inside the chamber she creates. The royal family still does not understand. They will. Soon. First, I finish the army. The royal troops in the southern tunnels regain control near the third barricade. 40 exorcists form 2 circles around the remaining funeral flames. Shield formations lock between them. Archers climb onto the siege frames. Lord Kesran is missing. Princess Isara's intelligence agents assume command. Good. Competence improves the value of victory. The first wave of undead crashes against them. White fire annihilates 20 plague corpses. Royal shields crush 8 skeletons. Sanctified arrows break relay anchors hidden in the ceiling. The enemy finally adapts. My army begins losing ground. Stage 1. Receive the attack. I let them. Boros takes 7 spears through the chest. One exorcist binds his hammer with golden chains. A siege bolt strikes his shoulder and tears the soul metal plate away. The heavy line collapses around him. Royal soldiers cheer. Morel's infiltration squads are forced back from the upper vents. 3 of her needlebearers burn before their fragments return. 1 fragment does not. The funeral flame catches it. Permanent loss. I feel the gap inside the forge. I do not flinch. The intelligence commander raises a blood-stained sword. The undead are failing. The soldiers answer him. The formation advances. Stage 2. Read the enemy. Idrissa slows the map. Every blessing pulse appears. Every flame conduit. Every command exchange. The royal army no longer alternates exorcists in groups of 4. Ysera's agents correct the weakness I exploit beneath the plague district. Now 5 circles overlap. Each one powers the next. Destroying a single lantern changes nothing. The shield formations are looser. Archers fire continuously. The command crystals relay through 3 separate officers. Better, still incomplete. All 5 exorcist circles draw refined essence from the same sanctuary reservoir. The reservoir passes through the Founder's chamber. The Founder's chamber now belongs to Idrissa. I touch the forge. Take the reservoir. Idrissa does not obey immediately. Her golden eye turns toward the royal coffins. Stealing the energy may damage more ancestors. The 10th sigil pulses. Choice, not command. She recalculates. Then she does something better. She does not drain the reservoir. She reverses its direction. Every portable funeral flame in the southern tunnels bends toward the palace. White fire pulls away from the soldiers. The royal blessings flicker. The exorcists shout. The intelligence commander looks at his lantern. It empties in his hands. Stage 3. Fire. I release the crownless dominion. Not 3 fragments. 300. The forge opens every territorial relay at once. Black lines race through the flooded channels. 9 paces becomes 900. 20 seconds becomes 4 minutes. The provisional skill evolves under full domain authority, Hollow Crown Dominion, expanded territory confirmed. Darkness rises beneath the royal army. Every corpse channel ignites with blue-black fire. Every hostile blessing weakens. Every undead body gains structural reinforcement. And the Dominion no longer steals 1 enhancement. It steals every repeated enhancement linked to the same source. The royal army possesses hundreds of sanctuary blessings, all fed by 1 reservoir, all copied from 1 extraction seal. I mark the network. The Dominion takes it. Golden light tears out of the living soldiers. It floods into my dead. Royal shields become ordinary metal. My skeleton infantry becomes covered in sacred armor. Exorcist resistance vanishes. My plague corpses begin burning with white fire that does not harm them. Every stolen blessing now protects the undead from the priests who create it. The intelligence commander stares at the transformation. No. That word is becoming popular. Boros rises. 7 spears remain lodged in his chest. He breaks the golden chains around his hammer. Sacred light covers the weapon. The dead giant swings. The entire exorcist line disappears beneath 1 strike. Bodies hit the ceiling. Lantern glass becomes rain. Morel drops from the upper vents with white fire burning along her needles. She enters the shield formation. 1 step. 6 punctures. 6 blessings stolen. 6 soldiers collapse. As their souls lose protection, her reconstructed hand moves too fast for living eyes. The porcelain mask turns toward the intelligence commander. She taps 2 fingers against her wrist. Once. Twice. He runs. A sensible choice. Completely late. Idrissa redirects 2 dormant squads ahead of him. The walls open. Skeletons step out. The commander stops. Morel reaches him from behind. I leave the forge. The army parts as I enter the southern tunnel. For the first time, the royal soldiers see more than a distant crowned skeleton. They see the domain. They see hundreds of dead troops standing in disciplined ranks. They see royal blessings covering plague corpses. They see Boros carrying a hammer large enough to break fortress gates. They see Morel dragging their commander through the black water by his hair. They see Queen Idrissa above me with 9 golden tactical sigils and 1 unfinished black crown. The survivors understand. The force beneath Varathis is not a fugitive. It is not a cluster of unstable corpses. It is an organized military power controlling every tunnel beneath the capital. One soldier drops his spear, then another. The rest begin retreating. I raise one hand. Every corpse behind them stands. Not hundreds. All 900 dormant reserves. The southern tunnels fill with blue eyes. There is nowhere left to retreat. Stage 4. Absorb. The battle ends brutally fast. Boros breaks the last fortified position. Morel kills the command officers. Idrissa seals every exit except one. I leave that route open deliberately. 43 soldiers escape. They run toward the palace carrying the truth. Let them. Fear requires witnesses. The dead remain. I collect them. 1,006 royal soldiers enter the southern campaign. 812 die beneath the city. 697 carry crown debt. The system converts their souls into 874 base and debt fragments. 40 exorcists become hollow chanters. 63 shield bearers rise as sanctified skeleton infantry. 27 archers retain complete combat memory. 6 siege crews become bone engineers. The dead intelligence commander becomes an elite relay captain with access to royal cipher habits. Lord Kezran remains alive inside Morel's burial shaft. He hears the army die above him. He hears his promised command become mine. I leave him there. The dominion contracts. 900 paces shrink toward the forge. The stolen blessings remain for another minute. Enough. I redirect the final surge upward. The royal sanctuary shakes. Every sealed coffin opens. The founder's chamber goes dark. Dane raises my silver sword. Queen Merla screams for the priests. King Orsric demands the doors opened again. Princess Ysara does none of those things. She looks at the altar, then at the black lines spreading beneath it. She finally understands who controls the palace. A speaking conduit opens in the center of the chamber. My voice enters through the hollow crown. The royal family freezes. I do not reveal my name. Not yet. The southern army is gone. Dane steps toward the altar. You. Yes. Queen Merla points at the sealed doors. Release us. I almost laugh. Almost. Princess Ysara looks toward the conduit. What do you want? The right question. Too late. Before I answer, King Orsric collapses from his chair. The black veins across his throat tighten. His royal essence supply is gone. He claws at his chest. Help me. Queen Merla kneels beside him. Restore the extraction. Dane grips the sword. Tell us how to stop this. Ysara's face remains still, but her voice changes. You understand the covenant. We do not. There it is. The royal family begs the only power capable of saving them. They do not know it is Corvin Vale. They do not know the man they execute now holds every answer. I let the silence stretch. King Orsric coughs blood across the founder's altar. Queen Merla's composure breaks. Name your price. I look through Idrissa's relay at the 4 living royals surrounded by the bones they abuse. The price, I say, is already inside the room. Every coffin around them opens wider. 318 royal skeletons sit upright. Blue fire ignites in every skull. Dane finally stops looking arrogant. For the first time since Crown Square, he looks genuinely terrified. 318 royal skeletons rise around the living royal family. The founder's chamber becomes a forest of blue fire. Ancient kings push open stone coffins with cracked hands. Queens wrapped in funeral silk sit upright beneath golden chains. Child princes crawl from boxes too small for adults to enter. Every dead face turns toward King Orsric. He lies across the founder's altar, coughing black blood. The ancestors do not bow. That may be the first honest royal ceremony in centuries. Dane raises my silver sword with both hands. Stay back. The nearest skeleton is King Valor III. He dies 140 years ago after ordering 7 villages burned for refusing a new grain tax. Now his jaw hangs by one strip of black soul light. He keeps walking. Dane swings. The silver blade cuts through Valor's skull. Blue fire erupts from the wound. The skeleton falls. Then the royal essence inside the sword reacts. Garenholt screams through the forge, not with a voice, with every bone in his body. I feel him moving before I command it. He tears free from the black table beneath the palace and enters the Covenant relay as a stream of blue light. The dead duelist crosses stone, wards, and royal blood seals in a single instant. He emerges from Valor's collapsing skeleton. Bones twist, rearrange, rebuild. Garen rises inside the Founder's chamber wearing black armor, grown from royal essence. His empty right hand closes around Dane's sword. The prince pulls back. The blade does not move. Oath metal recognizes the hand that earns it, not the hand that inherits it. Garen takes the sword. A system alert burns across my vision. Final catalyst accepted. Elite evolution completed. Royal Oathbreaker Garenholt awakened. The silver weapon turns black. Every false oath Dane forces onto it surfaces as glowing cracks along the blade. The execution of prisoners. The Southern Victory Proclamation. My conviction. My death. The sword remembers all of them. Garen turns the weapon once. Then he bows toward me through the relay. Not deeply. He is still a royal duelist. Death improves his manners without destroying his pride. Dane stares at his empty hands. That sword is mine. Garen raises the blade. The oath metal answers with a note, like breaking glass. Dane steps backward. No. He uses that word frequently when ownership becomes uncertain. Queen Merla reaches the sanctuary conduit and presses both palms against it. Ancestors of Varethius, obey your queen. The golden chains around the coffins tighten. Several skeletons freeze. Their blue flames dim. She smiles. The chamber still recognizes royal blood. Not enough to control the dead, enough to hurt them. Merla pulls harder. A dozen ancestral skeletons collapse. Their soul fragments begin flowing toward her. King Orzric inhales. The black veins across his throat recede slightly. They are still feeding him. Even now, even surrounded. The family's answer to every crisis remains consumption. I place both hands on the forge. The hollow crown dominion expands upward. Black lines flood the Founder's chamber. The system warns me that the Covenant core resists foreign authority. I push anyway. The resistance strikes like a hammer against my skull. My crown fractures again. Blue fire spills down my skeletal face. The chamber walls blaze gold. Not yet. King Orzric looks toward the speaking conduit. His voice is weak. Whatever you are, I command you by the crown of Varethius. I remain silent. He grips the altar. The throne owns every soldier born beneath its banners. There it is. The belief beneath every stolen ration, every burned village, every false execution. Ownership. I increase the pressure. The chamber floor splits. The ancestors rise again. Queen Merla screams as the extraction chains reverse around her wrists. Golden links cut into her skin. The souls she tries to consume pull back, not gently. Her burned palm opens. Blue fire tears through the wound. She falls from the conduit. King Orzric loses the borrowed essence. His body convulses. Dane runs toward the sealed doors. Princess Isara catches his shoulder. Stop! Open them! They are not doors anymore. He strikes her hand away. Then find another exit. Isara looks at the black lines beneath the altar. There is none. For the first time, the entire royal family understands the room is not a sanctuary. It is a throne room for the dead, and they enter voluntarily. The Covenant core reacts to my dominion. A massive golden figure rises behind the Founder's altar. It has no face, only a crown. Hundreds of royal names rotate across its body. The first Covenant guardian. The mechanism beneath Varethius gives itself a soldier. Its hand closes around King Orzric, not to kill him, to protect its living monarch. Golden armor spreads across his failing body. The black veins vanish, his spine straightens, his eyes fill with divine light. Orzric stands. The guardian dissolves into him. A system warning strikes across my vision, crowned vessel activated, accumulated royal debt converted into sovereign defense. Every debt fragment I intend to claim becomes armor around him. Brutally clever. The worse the king becomes, the harder the Covenant makes him to kill. Orzric looks down at his restored hands. Then he laughs. Of course he does. You crawl beneath my palace with stolen bones, he says, and believe yourself a king? Golden light erupts from his body. The first wave destroys 40 royal skeletons. Their bones turn to dust. Their fragments scatter through the chamber. Idrissa's relay catches most. Not all. Permanent losses tear through the forge. I feel every one. Orsric lifts one hand. The dead royal guards embedded in the walls rise under his authority. Not mine. 100 Covenant sentinels step from golden doors. They carry execution axes and tower shields. Queen Merla crawls behind them. Dane takes cover near the altar. Ysara remains in the open. She studies Orsric, not relieved, alarmed. The Covenant is using you, she says. The king smiles. The Covenant knows its monarch. It knows its food. He strikes her across the face. Ysara hits the floor. Do not question the throne again. That is the family in one movement. I enter the chamber physically. The forge opens a black gate beneath my feet. One moment, I stand below the palace. The next, I step between two opened royal coffins. Boros follows. His hammer crushes the stone floor when it lands. Morel drops from the darkness above the chamber. Her porcelain mask is cracked from the southern battle. White sanctuary fire still burns along her needles. Garen stands beside the altar with Dane's blackened sword. Idrissa appears last. 9 golden sigils fill the air behind her. The unfinished 10th crown remains dark. King Orsric looks at us. His expression changes when he sees Idrissa. Not recognition, instinctive fear. The Covenant inside him knows its founder. Kill them, he orders. The sentinels attack. Stage 1. Receive the blow. Tower shields crash into my skeleton infantry. Execution axes tear through plague corpses. Golden warding light strips fragments from the bodies it touches. Boros meets the first sentinel line alone. His hammer destroys one shield. 3 axes enter his side. A 4th cuts through his knee. He falls. The sentinels surround him. Morel moves toward the king. Queen Marla activates a chapel seal beneath her feet. White chains catch Morel in midair. Her reconstructed arm tears free. Needles scatter. Garen reaches Dane. The prince grabs a ceremonial spear from the wall and drives it through Garen's chest. Royal blood ignites the weapon. Garen's armor splits. Dane twists the spear and laughs. You were a murderer before death. Garen's skull turns toward him. The black sword remains lowered. Waiting. Orsric charges me. The Covenant transforms his body into something massive. Golden armor grows across his shoulders. A lion-shaped helm closes over his face. He strikes with no weapon. He does not need one. His fist enters my ribs and tears through my spine. My upper body leaves the floor. I strike a coffin hard enough to shatter it. The hollow crown falls from my skull. Blue fire flickers. For 1 second, I cannot move. Orsric walks toward me. Behind him, my companions are losing. Boros is buried beneath sentinels. Morel hangs from white chains. Garen remains impaled. Idrissa's tactical sigils are being locked one by the Covenant core. The royal family watches. Dane's confidence returns first. It always does when someone else appears to be winning. He pulls the spear from Garen and kicks the dead duelist down. Queen Merla rises beside the extraction conduit. Ysara slowly gets to her feet. Blood runs from her mouth. Orsric picks up my crown. He holds it between golden fingers. A dog who bites the crown deserves the block. The exact words from Crown Square. My first insult. My first sentence. The anger arrives. Not the cold arithmetic I call revenge. Not strategy. Not efficiency. Real anger. I remember northern soldiers eating boiled leather, while Orsric purchases spirit crystal chandeliers. I remember plague children locked beneath the Eastern District because Merla refuses to fund the pyres. I remember Dane wearing my armor while men who follow me die. I remember Ysara lifting one hand and signaling the executioner. I remember my own head striking marble. For the first time since I returned, I stopped treating those memories as evidence. They hurt. Completely. Brutally. Humanly. The blue fire inside my skull surges. I am not biting the crown, I say. Orsric looks down. I rebuild my spine with every unbound fragment inside the chamber. Bone crawls across the floor. Ribs lock into place. My hands close. I am checking whether it deserves a head beneath it. I rise. Stage 2. Read the enemy. The Covenant armor around Orsric is not powered by his strength. It is powered by recognized royal debt. Every golden plate carries the name of a victim. Every crime becomes protection because the Covenant interprets corruption as proof of sovereignty. The mechanism does not distinguish authority from abuse. It only counts obedience and betrayal, so I stop attacking the king. I attack recognition. Idrissa understands before I speak. Her 9 sigils turn inward. Not toward the battlefield, toward herself. The Covenant chains tighten around her ghostly body. She could preserve her current form. She could keep the relay stable. Instead, she looks at the ancestors the system binds through her original mistake, her descendants, her victims, her kingdom. The 10th sigil forms. A black crown split down the center. The system announces the final condition founder accepts judgment of her own covenant, sovereign evolution authorized. Idrissa places both hands on her golden crown. Then she breaks it. The sound stops the entire chamber. Every tactical sigil shatters. The covenant chains attached to her chest snap. Golden armor peels away. For one instant, she becomes the prisoner I first see above the altar. Damaged, half-faced, executed. Then the black fragments reverse. They circle her. They become a new crown with no closed ring. A crown that cannot imprison the head wearing it. Her body transforms into a vast spectral figure above the chamber. A mantle of black banners fills the ceiling. 10 independent command sigils ignite behind her. The system names her Sovereign Ghost Idrissa, Judge of the Broken Crown. Independent domain authority unlocked. Royal recognition rewritten. The Covenant core screams. Not a human sound. A kingdom-sized mechanism realizing its founder has rejected it. Stage 3. Fire. Idrissa points at Orsric. Every victim name written across his armor turns away from him. The plates begin falling. 1, 10, 100. The Covenant no longer recognizes accumulated betrayal as royal legitimacy. It recognizes it as debt, exactly what it always should have been. Orsric's golden armor collapses. His restored body withers beneath it. No! He reaches for the fallen plates. They become chains around his wrists. Queen Merla rushes toward the conduit. Morel tears her remaining hand free. White chains rip through her shoulder. She drops anyway. Her scattered needles rise from the floor under Idrissa's new authority. Everyone strikes the extraction marks along Merla's arms. The queen loses control of the royal essence network. Morel lands behind her. One needle rests against Merla's spine. She does not kill her. Later, Boros pushes himself out from beneath the sentinels. His leg is gone, half his chest is open. He grips the mint hammer with one hand. Idrissa marks the guardian formation. Boros swings into the exact center. The shockwave destroys every Covenant shield simultaneously. One finishing maneuver, perfectly placed. The sentinel line collapses. My undead tear through it. Dane retreats from Garen. The dead duelist rises. The ceremonial spear remains through his ribs. He pulls himself along its shaft until he stands face to face with the prince. Dane releases it. Garen takes the Black Oath sword in both hands. The glowing cracks along the blade open. Every false promise Dane makes speaks through the metal. I will protect the Northern Army. I will honor Corvin Vale. I will defend the innocent. I will serve Veridus before myself. Dane hears his own voice. His face breaks. I am the Crown Prince. Garen cuts the ceremonial spear in half. Then he places the black blade against Dane's throat. The prince drops to his knees. King Orsric crawls toward the altar. His golden strength is gone. He looks old now. Painfully old. Wait. I walk toward him. He raises both hands? I can restore your rank. I keep walking. A duchy. Closer. The Northern Territories. Closer. My daughter. Isara's face does not change. That may be the coldest moment in the room. Orsric reaches my feet. He looks at the fractured crown burning above my skull. Please. There it is. Pride. Panic. Despair. Begging. The complete royal progression. I kneel. His relief appears too soon. I repeat his words from the scaffold exactly. A dog who bites the crown deserves the block. The relief vanishes. I place one hand around his throat. But you were never the crown. Behind me, Dane begins begging Garen. Queen Merla promises Morel anything she wants. Princess Isara says nothing. She watches the Founder's altar open beneath Idrissa's new authority. The Covenant core rises from the floor. a sphere of gold and black containing every royal soul bound to Verithus. The system presents the final choice: claim the covenant, bind the kingdom, become the next permanent monarch, or break it, release the royal dead. Risk the collapse of every structure powered by their imprisonment. The battle is won. The dangerous decision finally arrives. I hold King Orzrik above the open core. Idrissa looks at me. She does not command. She does not advise. Not this time. The choice belongs to me. Exactly as promised. The covenant offers me a throne. I give it a scaffold instead. My hand closes around the golden black core. Every bound royal soul screams through the hollow crown. The sound contains centuries. Kings murdered in sleep. Queens sealed alive. Children erased from succession records. Soldiers executed for refusing unlawful orders. Villages taxed into starvation. All of it compressed into one machine and mislabeled authority. The system repeats the choice: claim or destroy. I choose neither. Choices designed by prisons usually preserve the prison. I turn toward the awakened forge far beneath us. Its command network runs through every corpse channel, burial shaft, ward line, and forgotten royal passage beneath Verithus. The Covenant powers the kingdom through trapped souls. The forge powers my domain through distributed anchors. Different machinery. Same infrastructure. I do not need to collapse the kingdom. I need to replace the engine. Idrissa, I say. The sovereign ghost looks at the Covenant core. Her 10 command sigils rotate. She understands immediately. The Founder's Chamber becomes a battlefield again, not against soldiers. Against architecture. Golden diagrams spread across the ceiling. The northern border gates, the treasury seals, the palace foundations, the river barriers, the capital ward towers. Every structure drawing power from the Covenant appears as a separate line. Thousands of lines. Too many for one mind, not too many for hers. Idrissa divides them across all 10 sigils. Boros plants his hammer into the chamber floor. Black soul metal spreads through the cracks and stabilizes the palace foundations. Morel drives her needles into the sanctuary conduits. Each needle redirects one extraction channel toward the forge. Garen raises the oath sword. The blade cuts every royal command seal connecting the living family to the machine. Dane screams as the first seal breaks. Queen Merla falls beside the conduit. King Orzrik claws at the chains around his wrists. Princess Izira watches the diagrams. She sees what we are doing. You are transferring the load, she says. Yes. The forge cannot sustain the entire kingdom. Not yet. The system agrees. Current forge capacity cannot replace Covenant output. Projected structural failure begins in 4 minutes. The palace will collapse first. The river barriers follow. The northern gates fail last. 4 minutes. Plenty of time for a bad idea. I lift Orzrik above the Covenant core. The dead inside his soul is massive. Not 14 fragments like Brask, not dozens like the Exorcists. Thousands. Every diverted military payment, every unlawful sentence, every village sacrificed, every ancestor consumed to extend his life. The Covenant turns those crimes into armor. The forge will turn them into fuel. I press the king into the open core. Orzrik screams. Golden chains enter his back. His royal armor reforms for one instant. Then the forge pulls from the opposite direction. The armor tears inward. Every det name carved across it becomes a fragment. 100, 500, 1,000. The awakened forge roars beneath the capital. Its capacity rises. The northern gates stabilize. The treasury seals turn from gold to blue-black. The river barriers stop trembling. Orzrik's body withers in my hand. He looks directly into the fire inside my skull. I am the king. Not anymore. His heart stops. The system captures his soul before the Covenant can reclaim it. One base fragment. 3,712 crown debt fragments. Absolutely obscene. I could power an army with him. Instead, I power the kingdom he starves. The forge consumes the debt, not the base soul. That remains in my hand. A cold, terrified speck. King Orzrik dies believing ownership makes him immortal. Now every gate opens, because his crimes are being burned one by one. The irony is almost too clean. Almost. I place his base fragment inside his corpse. The dead king rises. Golden flesh peels away. A royal skeleton stands before me wearing the remnants of a lion-shaped crown. He retains no sovereign authority, no divine armor, no throne, only enough memory to understand what he loses. I repeat his sentence from Crown Square. A dog who bites the crown deserves the block. His skeletal jaw trembles. I point toward the founder's altar. He kneels beside it, not as king, as the first permanent power anchor. Every time the kingdom demands energy, the forge pulls another portion of his accumulated debt through his bones. He will remain conscious until the last fragment is spent. Considering the scale of his crimes, that may take centuries. One villain. One sentence. Queen Merla attempts to crawl away. Morel's needle remains against her spine. The queen's white mourning silk is soaked with sanctuary fire and her husband's blood. She looks smaller without a canopy. Corvin, she says. My name enters the chamber for the first time. Diane stops struggling. Isara closes her eyes. Merla sees the reaction. Recognition spreads. The cracked crown, the military stance, the voice beneath the bone. The man they execute stands in front of them with their ancestors at his back. Queen Merla's face collapses. You should be dead. I was. She looks toward Orsric's skeleton, then toward the Covenant core. We can repair this. She still says we. Remarkable. The temples will recognize you, she continues. I will declare your trial corrupted. I will restore your dignity before the entire kingdom. Dignity. From her. I walk toward her. Morel withdraws the needle and steps aside. The queen mistakes this for mercy. She rises unsteadily. I can make history remember the truth. I stop one pace away. History will remember you as a traitor too weak to die with dignity. Her own words strike her harder than a weapon. No. I take her burned hand. The sanctuary extraction mark still covers her palm. For years, she uses that mark to drain royal souls, to feed Orsric, to power public miracles, to turn executions into theater. I press her hand against the conduit, then I reverse it permanently. Every soul fragment she extracts over the years returns through her body. Not into the Covenant, into the royal coffins. Blue fire tears through her veins. Merla screams. Faces appear beneath her skin. Kings, queens, children, dozens of ancestors she reduces to fuel. They pass through her one by one. The chamber fills with her voice. Not graceful, not dignified, only pain. The same public amplification crystals she uses in Crown Square activate through the palace. Her screams echo across Varethus. Citizens hear the queen without music, priests, or prepared words. For once, the performance is honest. When the final stolen fragment leaves her body, Merla collapses. Her flesh turns gray. Her soul remains trapped inside the extraction mark. I close my hand around it. One base fragment. 846 crown debt fragments. The forge takes the debt. I keep the person. Her skeleton rises beneath the conduit. Funeral silk hangs from bare ribs. The extraction mark burns across one palm. I assign her to the sanctuary network. Every damaged royal soul passing through the chamber will be restored through her anchor before release. She spends her life consuming the dead. She spends her death repairing them. Her jaw opens. No voice emerges. Morel removes it and places it on the altar. The queen who turns executions into public declarations will never speak through another crystal. 2 villains, 2 sentences. Dane begins crawling toward Garen. The black oath sword remains at his throat. My loyalty was always to Varethus, he says. Garen's blade repeats the prince's broken promises in his own voice. The chamber fills with them. I will protect the Northern Army. I will honor Corvin Vale. I will serve the kingdom before myself. Dane covers his ears. The sword keeps speaking. He looks at me. I was following my father. I continue walking. I did not forge the evidence. Closer. Isara did. Princess Isara does not react. Dane points toward her. She planned the trial. She controlled the witnesses. She told me you were preparing a coup. And you believed her? I believed the crown. No. I stopped before him. You believed the version that gave you my army. He looks down at the armor he still wears. My silver plates. My northern insignia removed. His royal lion stamped over the empty spaces. Dane survives Red Hollow because I drag him from beneath a dead horse. He claims the victory. He receives the medals. He wears the armor. He executes me with the sword forged from my oath. Every object on his body belongs to someone else's sacrifice. I repeat his words. Your loyalty was useful until it became inconvenient. Dane's breathing stops for a moment. That was anger. It was accurate. Garen turns the oath, sword. The glowing cracks open. Black chains emerge from the blade and wrap around Dane's wrists. Each chain carries the name of a soldier abandoned under his command. Hundreds. Northern infantry frozen without supplies. Scouts left behind during retreats. Officers blamed for his failures. The chains pull outward. Dane screams as my armor tears from his body, plate by plate. The metal crosses the chamber and locks around the skeletons of dead northern soldiers. The property returns to those who earn it. My old chest plate settles over Boros. The shoulder guard fits poorly. He looks pleased anyway. Diane remains in a thin ceremonial tunic. No armor. No sword. No borrowed glory. Garen places the black blade against the prince's neck. Dane finally begs. Not elegantly. Not strategically. He promises titles. Gold. Military command. He offers secret routes into the royal treasury. Then he offers Isara. The princess watches her brother sell her life. She should look surprised. She does not. I nod to Garen. The sword falls. Dane's head strikes the founder's floor. The sound is smaller than mine. His soul produces one base fragment and 619 crown debt fragments. The debt enters the forge. The base returns to his bones. Dane's skeleton rises. He reaches instinctively for the sword. Garen strikes his hand away. I assign the dead prince to the Northern Gate network, not as commander. As a standard bearer, he will stand at the front of every reinforcement column sent to the soldiers he once abandons. He will carry their banner. He will never issue another order. When danger comes, his skeleton moves first. When victory comes, his name appears nowhere. 3 villains, 3 sentences. Princess Isara remains beside the altar. She is the only one who does not beg. Her cheek is swollen from Orsric's blow. Blood dries beneath her lip. She watches her family become infrastructure. Then she looks at me. You planned this from the mint. Earlier. The stolen ledger. Yes. The chapel intrusion. Yes. The reversed cipher. Deliberate. The dust line beneath the beam. A mistake. That almost makes her smile. Almost. She looks toward Idrissa. The founder's ghost corrected your other errors. She corrected most of them. And the Republic? Contained. Vasca will still attempt to reach the Covenant records. She already does. Idrissa's 10th sigil shifts. A golden image appears above us. 3 quiet ministry agents are trapped inside a false founder passage, arguing with a wall that has not existed for 2 centuries. Isara studies it. You used everyone. No. I look at her family. They used themselves. Her eyes return to the open Covenant core. What happens to me? The question is calm, not fearless, controlled. That is her addiction. Control until the final breath. She forges evidence because truth refuses to obey her. She executes allies because uncertainty threatens her power. She sees the trap before anyone else, then keeps walking because retreat would mean surrendering authority. I take the forged confession from inside my armor. The paper survives my execution because Brass keeps a copy in the Burial Guard archive. Morel steals it days ago. My signature, the royal seal. The invented treason. I place it on the altar. Isara looks at the document. I can tell you every official involved. I already know. Every hidden account. Recovered. The names of foreign agents inside. The capital. Vasca supplies a better list. Her composure finally cracks. Only slightly. You have no reason to keep me alive. Correct. I repeat her words from the scaffold. No grave in this kingdom will claim your name. She closes her eyes. I drive my fingers through her chest. Fast. No spectacle. Her heart stops before she reaches the floor. The system captures her soul. 1 base fragment. 1,103 crown debt fragments. More than Merla. Less than Orsric. Exactly as expected. I feed the debt into the forge. The final unstable structures beneath Veridus lock into place. The kingdom no longer depends on the Covenant. It depends on the distributed necromantic network built through the tunnels. No single throne controls it. No living monarch can consume it. The system belongs to the territory, the dead anchors, and the judge holding the hollow crown. I raise Isara. Her skeleton stands in black court robes, no jewels, no royal insignia. I leave her eyes dark. Unlike the others, she does not receive direct sight. Instead, I place her inside the royal archive beneath the sanctuary. Every forged verdict, every altered succession record, every secret execution order, every hidden account. Her skeleton will catalog all of them. She will preserve the truth she spends her life manipulating. But no official record will retain her title. No monument will bear her face. No royal tomb will accept her remains. The most powerful keeper of names in Verethus becomes an unnamed archivist. 4 villains, 4 crimes, 4 endings. The Covenant core still floats above the altar. Its golden half dims. Its black half pulses. The system repeats its original choice one final time. Claim or destroy. This time, destruction is safe. Idrissa transfers the last border ward into the forge. Morel closes the sanctuary extraction network. Boros locks the palace foundations. Garen cuts the final succession seal. I crush the core. Gold and black light erupts across the chamber. Every coffin opens. Every royal soul bound to Verethus rises. Thousands. They fill the sanctuary, the palace halls, the crypts, and the sky above Crown Square. Citizens fall to their knees as dead monarchs appear over the capital. Then the hollow crown asks for my command. Release. Or raise. The title of king is empty. The bloodline is finished. The kingdom still requires defenders. I select both. The souls are released from the covenant. The bones remain. Across Verethus, royal tombs split open. The lion mausoleum erupts in blue fire. Forgotten coffins beneath the palace unlock. 318 sanctuary skeletons step into formation. 746 partial remains assemble into complete bodies using bones from the royal repository. 49 sealed skulls receive new frames forged from black soul metal. Every last member of the royal bloodline rises as a skeleton. Not enslaved souls. Not suffering prisoners. Weapons carrying only physical memory, historical authority marks, and enough instinct to defend the territory they once claimed to own. The guilty retain consciousness. The innocent do not. The distinction matters. Idrissa watches the royal army gather. Her black open crown burns above her head. She is no longer bound to the throne. She chooses to remain. Boros rests the mint hammer across one shoulder. Morel replaces her cracked porcelain mask with Queen Merla's white funeral veil. Garen plants the oath sword into the founder's altar. King Orsric kneels as a power anchor. Queen Merla stands beside the healing conduits without a jaw. Dane holds a northern military banner at the lowest rank. Isara disappears into the archive carrying my forged confession. The palace throne hall collapses during the transfer. Not the palace. Only the raised platform supporting the lion throne. The golden chair falls through 3 floors and lands inside the empty covenant chamber. No one repairs it. I establish the new command chamber there. No throne. A black forge. A tactical map. Rows of royal skeletons standing beneath the place their descendants once rule. Lieutenant Sen enters after sunrise with the surviving officers. Vasca arrives through the wrong passage and finds Morel waiting with 12 needles against her throat. She accepts revised negotiation terms remarkably quickly. Citizens gather outside the palace. They expect a coronation. They receive an announcement read by Sen. The treason charges against Corvin Vale are void. The northern funds are restored. The royal accounts are opened. The hereditary crown is abolished. The dead royal army will defend the borders until a civilian council can replace every function previously controlled by bloodline seals. No one cheers at first. Reasonable. Then the northern soldiers see Dane's skeleton carrying their banner. The sound begins near the barracks. It spreads through Crown Square. Not my name. Not a title. Just iron striking shields. A soldier's recognition. Enough. I stand beneath the ruined throne hall while daylight enters through the broken ceiling. Thousands of royal skeletons wait across the palace grounds. The entire family, every branch, every forgotten heir, every king who believes the kingdom belongs to him. Now they belong to the kingdom. Queen Idrissa takes her place beside the tactical map. Her golden eye turns toward the northern border. Foreign movement already appears beyond the river. Vasca's republic is testing our weakness. Boros lifts his hammer. Morel's needles slide into place. Garen draws the black oath sword from the altar. Behind them, the royal dead turn north as one. I place my hand on the hollow crown forge. The law of consequence is painfully simple. Power always creates a debt. The only question is, who remains alive long enough to collect it? I do.